Okay, I'm live. Just going to give a little bit of time for some people to stream in or join the stream, I should say. Let me get this shared to the social media pages. That's the thing. If you don't get notified by the, because you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you're not getting those notifications, just like I say, check on my social media pages, and you definitely. Well, if you've liked my Facebook page, or if you follow me on Twitter or any of those other social media pages, then you're going to get some kind of a notification anyways. So let me send them out. Seems like I'm having to do the job of a lot of people these days. Without none of the compensation. Well, very minimal, that's for sure. But it's got to be done. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. All right. It's all sent up to the social media pages. We'll leave that one open. No, actually, we can close that up. Hey, what's going on, Point Fire? Good afternoon. Well, thank you very much. Hey, what's going on, Ian? Actually, before I even get into this whole thing, and yeah, we got lots of information to cover for sure. But yeah, I wanted to clear something up, but I'm going to allow everyone to kind of get in the stream here because my stream that I did with Gato, someone was accused of something. I went back and checked. Actually, my wife helped me find it, and the username private was, I think Gato just made a mistake because we did see the post, but it wasn't by private. And I just want to say to private because we found afterwards he's saying that he was being accused of saying things that he didn't say. And yeah, unfortunately, Gato did make a mistake there. And I want to make sure, at least for my side of things, I want to clarify things so that, because there's nothing worse than misrepresenting a person or suggesting they did something that they didn't do. That's not right. So going to try and clarify that up. But like I say, I want to do that particularly once more people have joined the stream. Okay, let's see here now. And then let me pull up these articles that I had posted earlier. Because yeah, like I say, the name of the stream, putting things into perspective. Well, we're going to do just that. And these are statistics. Some of you who pay attention to my social media pages have already probably seen them, but these are statistics that when you're out there and you're hearing people repeating and regurgitating those stupid talking points that their media masters, their opinion makers, their thought leaders are jamming in their head, these are numbers that you really need because they come right from the World Health Organization and the CDC themselves. So yeah, if you want to push back against it and use their own references, because that's the thing, they're referencing the World Health Organization, they're referencing these outfits to try to, claim that this pandemic is so, devastating and all the way they're, the way they're going on about it. This will help clarify things. Anyways, I shared a lot of stuff here. Just one sec. Let me still having to go down here. Not there yet. Not there yet, but we're almost there. My internet was faster. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. There's one. So let's bring that up. Bring that up. Actually, let me bring that way back over here. Okay. Close that one. And then where's the other one? There we go. There we go. Bring that one over here as well. Where is it? Okay. All right. I'm just about ready now. Just about ready now. See who else. Rika, what's going on, Rika? Nice seeing the stream. Okay, we got 3 people here for sure. It's showing we got 10. You say I know it's really I don't it's hard to get the notifications sent out. But like I said, I just want to give it a few more minutes here then. Maybe everyone's streaming today. Maybe I'm a little late and everyone's streaming at the same time. I didn't actually check that. So but I'm going to do it anyways because even if you don't see it today, well, somebody will see it tomorrow hopefully, or next week, next month, next year. That's the thing. Once it's on record, At least I can say I tried. Whether anyone's paying attention or not, that's besides the fact. But at least I can say that I provided the information. So it's there to find if you care to find it, that is. Hey, what's going on, GTO mama? GTO, love that GTO. Big fan of the Pontiacs. Good morning. Time for some reasonable conversation. You're darn right. You're darn right. Julie, hey, what's going on, Julie Moore? Nice to see you in the chat. Ian, Event 201. I don't believe the flu is as bad as the future of people. Okay. Hey, Bennett. Hey, Julie. Hey, what's going on, Mark? Like I say, anyone that's in the stream, you're going to want to hear this kind of information. But like I say, well, let me just do it right now so we can get beyond that. Anyways, those of you who were watching my stream from the other day, or was it yesterday, whatever? No, it was 2 days ago now. And I had Gato helping me with the comment section. And you know what? This is kind of why I like to do things my way, right? Because I think he did a pretty good job for the most part. But there was something that happened as a consequence of that. And some accusations were made, which the words that he said were put up there. There was someone in the chat that was saying some things that I definitely would not condone. Like, you got to go after the cops and those in the military. And, it kind of sounded like he was alluding to using force, right? Definitely not a big fan of that. And definitely don't bring that stuff to my channel. I am like, to me, that's, just, if you want to talk that smack, do that on your own. But anyways, it turned out that it wasn't the username private. I was hoping actually private would show up in this stream today. So I could personally say, I'm recognizing, me and my wife looked through the stream. And it wasn't private that said those things. It was this other user there was no username except underscore. So, I mean, if someone's username is just a couple underscores together, there's someone that's obviously either a troll or someone that's, not exactly on the up and up, right? So there was someone that did say those things, but it was not private. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Private. I apologize that Gato accused you of that. He obviously mistook who it was that said those things. Maybe he was just a little caught up in the moment. Anyways, once again, I apologize. And I know you were falsely accused of something that you did not say. And if there's one thing I'm not a fan of is people accusing other people of saying things. Because, people's character and their reputation it's very important, as we all know. So if you do get to see this video private, I apologize. And it wasn't you that said those things. And you're welcome to come to my streams anytime. And I'm glad at the very least nobody was banned. Nobody was taken out of the stream. Anyways, let's see who else is in the chat. Has anyone seen Bill Gates in his interviews? Yeah, I'm hearing lots of stuff about Bill Gates. Let me pull this stuff on here. I haven't personally, like I say, there's only so much I can do in the run of a day. So I just kind of stick to, the things that I am knowledgeable on. And obviously doing my own investigating. Luckily, actually, I got great people. I got a couple people that follow my social media pages that constantly send stuff to me. Sometimes it's a little overwhelming. And Barbara, this is shout out to you in particular. Thanks for sharing some of that information. But it definitely helps to have other people bringing some other information to light that maybe I'm not privy to, because like I say, I can't know everything. I can't pay attention to everything. I mean, we're in information overload, right? Now for something completely different. Yeah. I'm good. Okay. Testing is flawed, positive, negative, and pending. Self-isolate for 4 days. Okay. So anyways, let's get to this, folks. So when I say putting things into perspective, this is what's going to help things out, right? So we already know, and of course, the way it's unfolded, and we know there is an upwards trajectory possibly, although we're even admitting right now there's some places that it's kind of leveling off. But even if we still played the upwards trajectory in terms of the coronavirus outbreaks or the cases of deaths, right? Because the deaths, this is the way the media is presented, is supposed to be scared of how many people are dying. Well, these facts right here, let me bring them up. Okay. So yeah, let me just do the US one alone. Or actually, no, I'm going to go to the World Health Organization, because that's where everybody or most people are getting their information regarding this strain. So let me share the screen here. Okay. There we go. Just make sure everybody can see that. Yeah. And maybe try to expand on the size of the text just to see if we can't. There we go. Let me see if that looks better in the stream. Yeah, I think you can see that. I can anyways. If I can see it, an old guy at 50, you all folks should be able to see it. But anyway, so just to put things into perspective, let me bring up so far, and you got to remember this outbreak started in around December, right? So we got basically a 4-month timeline, in and around a 4-month timeline. Now, world. Okay. Yeah, so here we go. Worldometer. That's keeping track of the so let me pull that one up then. Let me switch out. Actually, let me do this one first. Close that. Stop. Put this one. So here's the cases so far. I'm going to share. Share screen. There we go. Let's do this one. Make sure everybody can see that too. Yep. So here's the cases so far of COVID-19 or coronavirus. Here they say coronavirus, which that's the thing. There's lots of coronavirus, but for the sake of this, we're going to use that number and suggest that they mean obviously COVID-19. So right now it's showing 1,318,306 cases with a total death rate or a total amount of deaths at 72,769. So roughly around 73,000 around there, and 276,000 that have recovered. So there's still, hundreds of thousands, probably a million or so that is still in limbo and how that's going to turn out. But based on the rate so far, we're looking at roughly around a 1% death rate. Typically, that varies obviously, but we're talking about if you're going to spread that out across the world, because we're talking about world figures here. This is the figures for the world over a 4-month timeline. And yes, there has been an upwards trajectory, but then there's also countries that had done a better job of what they call flatten the curve, or seeing their cases either leveling off or starting to go down. So the upwards trajectory may be relevant in some countries, right? But not necessarily for all. So like I say, this is not the end all be all, but this is just to put things into perspective. So 1.3 million cases, 72,000 deaths. Now, let's flip this back once again. Like I say, pull that off, stop, bring it back to share screen right here. Okay, so this is from the World Health Organization, and these are the numbers this is for tobacco related deaths, right? So let's read this. So like I say, we need to keep things into perspective here. So let's read exactly what it says on the World Health Organization's website in regards to deaths from tobacco, which, as you all know, that's the thing. Nobody has ever shut down entire economies, got military vehicles roaming the streets, shutting off entire provinces or states from people from being able to travel freely, entire segments of the economies being shut down, government having to bail corporations and individuals and households out, schools shut. So we know just how crazy the reaction has been by the media and government for 1.3 million cases so far. But like I say, even if you continue an upwards trajectory, put this into focus. So key facts, and this is from 26th of July of 2019. Tobacco kills up to half of its users. Tobacco kills more than 8 million people each year. More than 7 million of those deaths are the result of direct tobacco use, while around 1.2 million, and these are deaths, right? These are deaths, not necessarily how many people get it. Obviously, a lot more. If you look down there, 1.1 billion smokers worldwide. Anyways, so these are the deaths. That's 70,000 number. So here's what we're comparing here for a year. Now, like I say, even if you split that into a quarterly, 3 months, it's still much, much, much higher than what you're seeing from the COVID. But even 1.2 million are the result of non-smokers being exposed to secondhand smoke. So this is that thing where, you might, cause danger to me. Doesn't, you might be asymptomatic. Well, I mean, if you don't see someone putting a cigarette in the mouth, right, they're a smoker. But the fact that smoke does, go around in the air and the atmosphere when people are smoking, you can, have that contact by secondhand smoke. But this is suggesting on the, taking the entire population of the world in a typical year, you're looking at around 1.2 million people that have died just from the secondhand smoke. And in total, 8 million per year. Now, COVID-19 at 70,000, and once again, nothing to suggest that those 70,000 people who have died, let's admit that's not great, right? That's not a good thing. But 70,000 so far, even if you quadrupled that number, right? 140, 280,000. Let's say even if you ended up with 300,000, we'll still wait and see how the numbers are pan out in a year. And I'll come back. And if I've been proven wrong, I'll correct my own assumptions or presumptions, right? But so far, I'm just dealing with the facts and the timelines and reality. So as it is, those 70,000 deaths, and that's worldwide, right? Keep this in perspective. Worldwide, so far, 70,000 people have died from COVID-19. Yet 8 million die every year or in around there from just smoking or secondhand smoke alone. No, when have you ever seen entire countries or segments of the economy or people being put in lockdown or such a panic or outrage for something that's, on magnitudes or orders of magnitudes much higher in terms of the death rate? You don't even see anything like that. Now, just to even make it better in terms of the numbers and the correlation, I also looked on CDC's website. Let me bring that up. So let's stop the screen sharing for that. So like I say, all this will be in the description of this stream. So share this, like I say, share this. If you can't remember the information exactly, all the information is going to be contained in this stream. Okay, so let's close that. Get to the CDC. Share screen. Now, this would be just for the U.S. alone. And once again, I'm sticking with the tobacco statistics. You could find a myriad of things to do comparisons, right? But let's just stick to tobacco because most people will understand that people smoke. Like the smoking thing has been around, like smoking bad. A lot of people are already privy and understand that, smoke is not great, blah, blah, blah. But like I say, keeping things into perspective. Go back, make sure the text is good enough. Okay, yep, looks fine. Okay. More than 16 million Americans are living with a disease caused by smoking. For every person who died because of smoking, at least 30 people live with a serious smoking-related illness. Smoking causes cancer, heart disease, stroke, lung disease, diabetes, and chronic obstructivity, pulmonary disease, COPD, which includes emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Smoking also increases risk for tuberculosis, certain eye diseases, and problems of the immune system, including rheumatoid arthritis. Smoking is also a known cause of erectile dysfunction in males. It's bad all around, right? So we all recognize there's lots of risks involved with just lighting up that cigarette, which once again, entire societies haven't been locked down, shut down, the economy destroyed based on this alone. Now let's get into some numbers here. Smoking is the leading cause of preventable death. Worldwide tobacco use cause. So we're back here, the same number here, right? More than 7 million deaths per year for the pattern of smoking. So, but in the U.S., look, cigarette smoking is responsible for more than 480,000 deaths per year in the United States, including more than 41,000 deaths resulting just from secondhand smoke exposure. That is about 1 in 5 deaths annually, or 1,300 per day. Once again, and this is just the U.S., folks, just the U.S. So 480,000 people just in the U.S. alone die per year from smoking related, whether they smoke themselves, or I guess you would include that 41,000 deaths from the second. So you're talking almost 500,000 of people who die from smoke related deaths or illnesses or all the problems that smoking brings. And that's just in the US alone. So that 500,000 deaths per year from smoking is a much, much higher number. I mean, that means even in the US, even if this COVID, even over the course of the year, if it turns out to be less than 500,000 people who die from it, and once again, I'm not diminishing those who die, right? But like I say, it's all about perspective. If it doesn't even exceed 500,000 deaths, then that means the U.S. just in smoking, just in one country alone, is much higher than the threat of COVID-19 or the coronavirus. So, like I say, does it not at the very least cause most people to be greatly concerned? Because to me, that's the big thing, is why I've never seen so much, and the way the media, I mean, it's just wall-to-wall articles and this constant, it just seems like a constant propaganda, a fear propaganda campaign that I believe it's a whole reset. And it's a way to do so because people are much easily controlled when they're a heightened state of fear. Now, once again, as most of you would know, I'm about evidence, right? I prefer empirical evidence rather than just subjective preference or stuff and opinions. But this alone, like this is enough to make anyone stop, pause, and show a little bit concern for their thought leaders who are constantly pounding and hammering away at this narrative that COVID is this, it's basically like, think about it. People are suggesting we need to put ourselves in a war type footing or mentality over something that is magnitudes below even just the death rates annually from smoking cigarettes. And like I say, if you want, you can go and play with statistics on lots of different causes of death around the globe. And you'll find that it's not just smoking, folks. People die from a lot of things every year, and we don't lock them down. We don't destroy the economy, and we don't isolate everyone in society or have everyone function in such a heightened level or state of fear where now it's even affecting people's psychology, which is what I'm going to get to next. So just give me a sec. And that heightens. So everyone's, what was that, doctor? Well, even if one person dies, right? So pulling that old heartstring, right? Well, we got to do everything we can, even just to prevent one death for the greater good and all that shit, right? Well, hey, listen, once again, not a fan of death, but what about this? What about this? Check this one out. Just saw this reported yesterday, I believe it was, in Yahoo News, or it might have been a couple days. Well, what about this, right? What does anyone care about this guy? I mean, I don't know him from a hole in the ground, but let me see, make sure it's on the screen and you folks can see the headline. Yeah. Man, 34, takes his own life after being unable to cope with coronavirus self-isolation. So this, like I say, this was reported from Yahoo News UK, April 4th, 2020 by Jim Newsbuga or whatever his name is. A man who suffered from bipolar disorder has taken his own life after being unable to cope with self-isolation during the COVID-19 pandemic. His family has said. Daniel Furness, 34, died last week after struggling with lockdown in his home in Waterlooville, Hampshire. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has ordered the restriction of all by essential contact in order to cease the spread. Anyways, this gentleman, if you go down, yeah, he had obviously mental health issues. Miss Furness' sister, Chelsea, 28, is hoping his death will raise awareness of the issue facing those with mental health problems during self-isolation. She said, Dan had a long history of mental health issues, and one of the things he struggled with was being on his own. He lived on his own, but would go out every day. Dan had diabetes and was classed as a high-risk person. So after lockdown, he was unable to go out, which we think pushed him over the edge. We're concerned about him being in isolation and stayed in touch, but we're not able to see him. We tried our best and let him know we were there for him. Anyways, like I said, I'm not going to get into the personal situation and other things that you might have been able to do to help this young man or relatively young man. But here we go, right? If we care, but I mean, we're already seeing, and this is quite early on. And like I say, it's only one I'm seeing, but doesn't mean that it's only one that's happened. It's just the one that I've seen being reported so far. But that alone just goes to show you that, yeah, you know, this, just the panic alone is actually causing people to succumb and lose their own life. So like I say, we really got to keep these things in perspective. Let me get back to the chat here before I continue on. We got lots to cover here. I got tons to cover. And like I say, I'm doing this specifically so that people have information that if you're armed with the proper information, you could push back against those people who are repeat and regurgitate the paranoid talking points that they're thought leaders. That's the thing. I seen a meme going around earlier. Oh, it was a Scooby-Doo cartoon. You know how they always reveal at the end of who was the monster or right, the demon or the goblin or whatever, right? There's always someone. And who's causing all the panic? Yeah, it is the media. You know, when you peel the mask off, who's putting everyone in this heightened state of fear and going along with this shit? It's those in the media. It's the thought leaders. It's those who represent the establishment are keeping people in this massive heightened state of fear. So they are the ones, you know, are definitely going to be proven to be responsible for a lot of this, what's taking place. They're very reckless and irresponsible. Why they're doing it for? You know, for a paycheck, right? Because their media outlets are failing. I don't know, because they're propagandist arms of the government for a lot of them. There's lots of reasons behind it, because the incentive structures are so fucked up these days. But at the very least, it's showing, and it should show everyone, that the media and your overlords, your political, you're failing you all miserably. Other than that, so just scrolling on down here and checking, like I say, on some of these comments here. Credit COVID-19 is a way to scare the shit out of people. Well, I mean, the way the media is representing and reporting on it, for sure. Okay, GTO. Okay, these people behind this are brilliant, evil, but brilliant. What if I told everyone that the Rockefeller Foundation came up with this plan? Well, I don't know. Like I say, there's all kinds of, that's the thing. I will not, one thing I won't do is repeat anything that I don't know without 100% clarity for myself. I don't need to, because I just go by what's being presented to me, which is the media and those in charge, the political class, are greatly hyping and sensationalizing this thing to the point where it's not conducive with the reality on the ground in terms of how many people are dying or being stricken with this illness, to the point where it's so severe, right? Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, we didn't even shut down the entire economy after 9/11. That's 100%. Should I start panicking now? I mean, panicking puts you in a state where you're not going to be thinking critically. So I wouldn't suggest panicking regardless. Never seen. Yes, I've never seen, in my 50 years that I've been alive, I've never seen anything so overhyped. When you consider, like I say, when you consider the actual statistics, the actual numbers that are being reported on, this seems so massively overblown. It's not just the fact that people are panicked, it's what the measures are being implemented. If people want to just get outraged and irate, or they let fear control them, that's one thing. But when governments are using that fear as a means to create a lot of authoritarian measures, which I'll be getting to yet as well, then that is the part that I see, which is most concerning to me. What's going on? Official blasphemy. Haha, we didn't have such a strict war mentality in actual. Yeah, exactly. Like I say, even in comparison to like global wars, exactly right. It's this, which just goes to tell you, no matter what side of the fence you're on, you know that there's something about this that just doesn't make any sense. I never realized my lifestyle was called quarantine. Okay, let's see what else here. I'm going to go back, check out some more articles. I thought my chat got shut down. Now that he gives you half apple. Not sure what that means. Okay, I'm just going to, like I say, go back. If I don't see anything else in the chat here, I'm just going to go back. Damian Quinn, I see something. The amount of people I see online begging the government to lock us down is boggling my mind. They just don't understand why that's a bad thing. That's the power of indoctrination, like I've said so many other times before. Anyways, I'm going to get back in, like I say, to cover some more of these articles, because there's lots more yet. So there's this one. Wow. Being reported by Warmington. I think his name is Joe. Yeah, Joe Warmington. Let's check this out. There you go. So as you can see here, Joe Warmington, enforcement of physical distancing ramps up in Toronto. This was reported April 3rd, 2020. Toronto has more than 100 homicides go unsolved more than 100 homicides go unsolved in the past 5 years, but our police are now focused on stopping people from not standing too close to each other. We have received approval to impose a $1,000 set fine for conviction under the bylaw. It's for anybody caught in park or public square standing less than 2 meters next to someone they don't live with. Mayor John Tory told reporters Friday at a COVID-19 briefing. Then Chief Mark Sanders tweeted, Toronto police officers are patrolling parks and public squares on horses, bikes, in cars, and on foot to enforce public health orders and social distancing bylaw. Ticketing will be issued for those not respecting the law. Police didn't have the kind of zero tolerance response when murder victim tests. Anyway, so as you see, so yeah, so now you have the police out there actively, rather than doing anything that they should really, it should be arresting the fucking people that are causing such panic and destroying the economy. But nope. Like I say, that's for all you people that have so much faith in the police and the military. It's unfounded fucking faith. All right. Yes, you might find a very, very tiny minority of them that might say, I'll quit my job before I'll do that. But you will recognize that you're not going to see that on any rampant scale. They will follow the orders for a paycheck, whether it's a liberal government telling them to do it or a fucking conservative government, because in Ontario, it's a conservative government. So people that want to identify as conservative, yeah. And I mean, Doug Ford is being just as authoritarian at this point in time now with these ridiculous fines and now even threatened imprisonment, right? Some areas up to a year. So like I say, the politics has to be put aside for all you people that have that fucking thing in your brain where you just, I got to pick one of my fucking, is it left versus right? I got to stop with the fucking nonsense. Think as an adult and be independent for once in your goddamn fucking life. Stop playing politics, because not only are you failing yourself, you're failing. If you have kids, you're failing them fucking miserably. Please don't raise your kids into believing this. It's left versus right. No, it's fucking goddamn authoritarians that want to control every aspect of your social and economic life. Right. And I don't give a fuck what color they are either, because that's another thing. People that are scared to death about brown people and all this shit. It's a lot of white people that they're fucking us up today, isn't it? Right. So stop. Like I say, this is the stuff that I think is of absolute importance for people to get in their goddamn thick skulls, is stop trying to play politics. Right. I mean, it's bad enough they lead you around like by your nose constantly. Just take something out of your life and like I say, think for yourself. Fuck's sakes. Come on. And if you're one of those people, rather than turning away from me in the stream and saying, I don't want to hear it, rather than letting that cognitive dissonance, destroy your mind, just own up to the fact I'm just here to tell you the truth. That's it. Like it or not, all I'm here for is to tell you the truth, because I recognize just how important it is to get people out of this stupid mindset, because we're never going to get out of this shit if everyone thinks it's just the lefties, right? It's not. It's those who want to be your ruler, your authority. Which is why I would never want to be that. I would never in my life want to be anyone's ruler. And those who seek to do so, you have to question their motives for doing so. Oh, and then there's this too. Let me bring this up. This is a little bit on the lighter note here. All right. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Unreal. Basically trying to put everybody on the dole of big government, because once you become dependent, like I've said in my past streams, well, once they put you on the hook, it's going to be really hard to get off it, right? So as you can see, CTV News, Trudeau says help coming for students unable to find summer jobs. So now even summer jobs for fucking students, now they're going to use fourth income wealth redistribution or future taxation for, because like I say, this has to be paid off at some point in time. If not, then that means they're going to basically destroy any semblance of having an economy or a monetary system at all, right? They're basically going to bring it all to a grinding halt. And even for students. So now it's not just the people who are being laid off, or the businesses are closed down, or the people who are not essential services, or those who are in education. And now it's even students. And yeah, I'm hearing constantly how there's these farmers are worried about that they're not going to have anyone to pick their fucking crops. Well, listen, not the worst thing in the world for young people or students to go out and do some of those jobs. And maybe, like I say, maybe ask for, if you can't get anyone, because the temporary foreign worker program is in limbo at this particular time. This is a good time. There's lots of Canadians in here, young and old, that could do these jobs if you're worried about them not having anything to do. But once again, this is not, the government don't give a shit about that. They don't give one flying rat's ass about that. They only care about putting more and more people on their dome. That's how you bring about socialism. You get more and more people relying on the state for their paychecks or their income. And once you've done that, like I say, the first fix is free, right? So moving on from this one too, because there's lots to get through, and I'm going to try to get through them. Now, as a New Brunswicker, when I seen this, and I thought Blaine Higgs was going to back down. Seemed like he was there for a while, but yeah, never underestimate these dipshits when it comes to trying to take over and assume more power. Where is it? There we go. So there's this. If you're on the Atlantic coast, 2,000 troops on standby, ready to respond in Atlantic Canada. I'd like to see how many of these troops, because like I say, probably a lot of them would be coming out of Gagetown, a place I'm very familiar with in New Brunswick. And I would like to see I want to see how this pans out, right? How many of these troops are truly willing to go out and look at what the picture they're showing. Tell me that's not trying to instill fear in the people, right? I mean, the caption of 2,000 troops on standby, ready to respond, soldiers ready to help with COVID-19 or natural disaster relief, but basically a bunch of military vehicles roaming down, a residential street. Over what? Right? This virus that so far, and that's once again not diminish the people who have suffered or died as a consequence or result, but this is outrageous to be using the military. I mean, the military is supposed to be, to defend the borders, not to be roaming the public streets in any part of this fucking country, right? And we're not talking about people like civil engineers that are going to go rebuild bridges or anything like that, or military engineers or stuff. No, this is the fact that they're just like what Blaine was saying. He was going to threaten to send in the military towards people who were going to the park or the beach. Okay. The soldiers are primarily based in the region, but about 100 could be arriving from Kingston. Like I say, not like we have a gigantic military force anyways. Now Sunday that will be on full-time Canadian force, which will be the same pay and benefits as regular forces. So they're bringing up some of the reserves, I guess. At least by putting them on full-time service, they will have a guaranteed salary. That's another thing too, right? Even if you don't ever use them, got to make sure everybody's getting paid by government, right? Wow. I mean, think about it. When it comes to the troops, what could the fucking troops be doing? Right? I mean, if you're worried about them, the ones that are competent in terms of medical or handing out masks, you don't have to you don't have to don a fucking uniform or be in your full-on gear to help people out medically. You could do that as a private fucking citizen, right? Or if you want to do it under the pretense that you have the accreditation in the military and you have the ability, you still don't have to get dressed up in military garb. But yeah, like I say, so they got military troops on standby in the Atlantic provinces, right? So there's that. Once again, folks, so there's that. Okay, close that up. And then, of course, this as well. We bring this up. It started out, the first thing that we were hearing, right, was just Quebec and Ontario. Now there's an actual border between our provinces now. Travel freely? No, that right. Now that's being quashed and destroyed, where you don't even have the ability to travel freely in the privacy of your own vehicle, right? I mean, if you're in the privacy of your own vehicle, you're not fucking, yeah, you do have windows and a windshield, like you're closed off, right? And you're not within 6 feet of anybody when you're traveling freely down the roadway in your own vehicle with your windows up. So what is the point of preventing people from traveling freely out there on the roadways or highways, if not to instill more fear? Many provinces and territories enforcing border checkpoints and travel restrictions. So far, 8 provinces and territories have set up such checkpoints and travel restrictions. Papers, please. Like I say, this makes me sick to think that especially for the younger people in this fucking country, I do not want the younger people in this country to even think for 1 second that this is normal or that they should ever become accustomed or used to this kind of nonsense. Like I say, those of us Gen Xers and even the boomers, we never had to put up with this fucking shit for a lot of the things that happened. Even under the big red scare of the military, the nuclear threat from Russia, remember? Which meant, if there was an actual nuclear threat from Russia, which, they were hyped up during the Cold War, mean, think about it. A nuclear fallout it had the potential to destroy the entire planet, not just a few 100,000, not just a few million, or literally had the potential, the power, the devastating, the destructive power to destroy, wipe out the entire population on this planet. And we grew up never having to worry about when you cross into one province to the other that you have to have your papers checked and where are you going, and the limitation, the restrictions on our free movement, which is one of our inherent and inalienable rights. But they're doing it today for this coronavirus outbreak. If you have kids, you need to help them understand just how terrible, how devastating this is, because it's going to affect their psychology. You have no idea what this effect is going to play on the young people in this country. And I don't want them to fall in the kind of conformity that some of the older generations have. So please help the young people out. If you have kids, people that have kids, and they're old enough to understand these things, you need to sit down and have the discussion and point these things out. Use the facts and the statistics that I put in there. Give them something so that they have real numbers to use. So they're not just thinking, oh, my dad's just like an anti-government person and he's just hyping up his own perspective, right? Use their own numbers. The CDC, the World Health Organization, the people that are supposed to be all the experts, right? Use it against them. Use this information and properly educate and inform your kids so they're not falling for this goddamn hype. All right, so let me close that up. And as you all know, I mean, anyone that watches my stream, this stuff, it annoys the living shit out of me because I know I've grown up and realized just what this does to people. And not even at this level, but I've already seen just even a little bit of fear, how people will they'll destroy any semblance of so many freedoms. Just thanks, Derek. Just because of fear. And it's like, I'm so tired of living in a country with so many fucking cowards. Stop allowing fear to rule you, for Christ's sakes. Where's all the real men go in this goddamn country? I know some of them, a lot of them are actually in my stream here, right? But what the hell is everyone else? Where's all of our friends, our neighbors, where are they all, right? We're all these people. We're all these ones that should be showing solidarity with us. We're not just feeling like we're just the tiny representation of 30-some people today. We should have much, much larger numbers than this that are willing to listen to this kind of information rather than just fucking watching the 24-hour CBC news or CTV news or getting that kind of indoctrination or that fear psychology, right? Where are they? Where are they all? Where are they all? I don't know. They sure shit aren't here. Damien Quinn. By the way, if everyone, please hit the like button. And if you don't, you lazy fuck, if you're watching this stream, and I don't give a shit if you never watch my stream again. If you come to this stream and you're not at least hitting that fucking like button, fuck off. Don't come back to my fucking stream. Because if you can't even do that, if you can't share my video, you can't do a goddamn thing, then don't waste your time coming. I'm not here to fucking entertain you. All right. Go find that somewhere the fuck else, because I'm so sick of that too. It really pissed me off that people don't even have the decency to just, how long does it take? Really? Too difficult? I'll probably be disappointed even after this fucking stream to see what the numbers turn out to be. Or the fact that I get a few hundred views, never gets shared around. So nobody's getting the information other than us. We're all just sitting around circle jerking. That's not, like I say, that alone, it's not going to help things either. And yes, I know people will get mad at me. Well, go ahead. If you want to get mad at me for trying to hold you to a little better standard, then go ahead. But take your shit elsewhere, because I would rather have only 2 people watching my stream, but at least know that those 2 people really genuinely give a fuck about doing anything, right? Don't care anymore. Oh, I seen the number dropped off by 3. Okay, we got rid of 3 of them. Bye-bye, motherfuckers. Don't let the door hit you. Figuratively speaking, mind you. No critical thing. Yeah, not by many. The elderly and immune compromised should stay home, because all these people too. That's another thing. Yeah, you think you're gonna make out so well in this fucking world? Good luck. Yes, I agree. Well, I mean, yes, the elderly. Yes, that is who we need to protect. And just like I've said so many times in my past videos, we can protect them by leaving them in the places where they're isolated. There's absolutely no reason. And the fact, anyways, if you go out there, there are people out there. There are people like my wife and people like lots of people who have joined my stream where they got family members that are out there and working just to keep what little bit of the economy is left, right, going and humming along. So what? They're easily Oh, we don't give a fuck about sacrificing these people because we deem them essential. But everyone else, like, if you're not essential, oh, we want to protect you, right? Wouldn't you want to protect the fuck? Well, just because it goes to show you how fucking insane. If the people are essential, these are the ones that you would, if you really think about it, if you really, really care about people and you're pretending that the reason why you're doing all this shit is to protect people, well, isn't it the essential people that you should be more concerned about? Because the non-essential people, really, we don't give a fuck. I mean, based on their bullshit, well, the non-essential people, they're not essential. Just by the fact that you using the word non-essential, which suggests that like it's all upside down, it's all ass backwards. Wouldn't the essential people be the ones that we should be worried about? Right? Nope. Because as long as we can all go out and get our goodies, which I'm not against it. Like I say, but it should be done voluntary means. Those who are brave enough to go out and do this stuff and take care of things, take care of business, they should be allowed to do so. There should be no such thing that some people have to be sent home and isolated, and some people have to be out there on the front lines. Allow the people that want to be on the front lines to be on the front lines. The people that don't want to, go home. That's voluntary, and you would get, like I say, the right kind of people out there. And because even in some of these grocery stores, there's a lot of people that are even saying they're quitting their jobs because they're like, well, yeah, I'm deemed essential, but I'm not fucking doing it because I'm too scared to. Well, okay, well, then that person, they're not going to anyways, right? Even if you say it's essential, they're still, because you're not forcing them as of yet to be there, right? Oh, I'm down to 28 now. Apparently, I'm pissing lots of people off. Like I said, I don't care. Whatever. It is what it is. COVID-19 is hyped up so much so government can power grab and institute new rules and regulate the future enslavement. Yep. Hey, that looks like Chris Kaleli, right? I think that is Chris Kaleli, a friend of mine on Facebook there. Tell him, Bennett, thanks, Edgar Forrester. Yeah, like I say, I tend to do that, which is why I'm not nearly as popular as so many other people. I won't sit there and blow fucking smoke up your fucking ass. That's why people don't like me. Sorry if I won't sit there and fucking, like I say, I won't do it. Don't give a shit. Don't give a shit. Whine, cry, bitch. Go home. Stick your fucking tail between your legs then. Go away. Don't care. Let the students work on farms. Yeah. Why not? Students used to, that was actually quite normal throughout all of human history until, the modern advancements in agriculture, right? And the Industrial Revolution. That was actually considered quite fucking normal, but oh no, we can't allow that. You got to import people from countries, what it is they just want to pay dirt cheap wages. They don't want to pay what a Canadian, a teen or a student, in their 20s going to, because they'd have a higher, they would want more of a pay rather than fucking slave labor wages, right? It's like, oh, well, we don't want them. We don't want to pay anyone a livable wages. No, we'd rather import fucking foreign migrants and pay them dirt fucking cheap. That's what that all comes down to. Make no mistake about that. It's always because of that. If students need summer jobs, don't we have firms complaining? That's what I was saying. The equalist, 100%. Right on. I'm probably behind in the chat here. That's probably why I'm seeing this stuff. 2:37, where we at? I'm not too bad, 2:51. So yeah, I'm about 15 minutes behind here, but that's actually pretty good for me. So instead of having Canadians working on farms, we were told we need to bring in yeah, right? Bull fucking shit we do. Bullshit. That's another thing, folks. I'm going to say this again. When you're talking about stuff in terms of government or people that aren't us, don't use the fucking we mentality or use that word like we're doing this. We're not doing it. Like, if Trudeau's fucking up, I don't identify or align with Trudeau. So I would never say we in terms of Trudeau and me. He or if it's him and his gang of fucking mindless order followers or his lackeys, they, right? That's your nationalism that's been jammed in your head so hardcore that all you can think about is we. Because we've been told for so long by our propagandist overlords that we're supposed to think of each other as we're all just one big happy family, and we're all just one big collective. Well, there's us versus them for the most part, and I will never identify as we when you're talking about the state. No state, no politician, none of them represent me. Nor do I align with them in any way where I just say it's we. No. Not we, they. When you're talking about Trudeau, him. He's the fucking asshole, not me. Don't include me with fucking Trudeau, please, for Christ's sakes. Princess, do farm work. Dustin L. Hey, Dustin L. I haven't seen you in the chat. Nice to see you in the chat. If you don't mind, hit that like button and subscribe. It really helped me out. Like I say, I'm trying to get my videos out there somehow. It's really difficult these days to get any traction because, like I said, when you're the one that wants to tell people the truth, when they'd rather be fucking spoon fed a bunch of bullshit, then yeah, not real popular, as a lot of people are acknowledging and seeing today. The economy is fake, money is fake, politics are fake. So what do you do? Yeah, the economy, well, especially after the financial crisis, well, basically after the gold standard was severed and full on Keynesianism, where you just, and they're even saying it even in the media outlets now, it's like where they're just turning on the print and press. They would hide this stuff 20, 30 years ago. Anyone that's older than 40, 50 years old in this chat, fucking damn well they never talked about the way the central banks and how they just print money like it's going on. They're even comfortable talking about this shit. And why they're comfortable is because they realize that, hey, nobody cares. Nobody's doing anything. We can rip them off. We can keep them print and press, which, destroys the purchasing power of your dollar, which fucking creates price inflation, which is, like I say, destroying all the productivity and what we're worth, which keeps us constantly chasing our tails, trying to keep our wages in par with the inflation, which is not happening and hasn't been happening for decades. But yet, yes, this is exactly right. The economy, there is some underlying aspects of the economy that's real. Like if you go buy your weed from Matt in apartment 6B, that's a real exchange, right? That's some real economic exchange that is real. But even that money that you're using to buy your weed has already been devalued by your central planning overlords, right? So even in the black market, unless you're paying with what, gold or silver or just barter, even the black market people are being fucking ripped off by this constant money printing and the devaluation of our currency. The only way they get away with it, though, is because they're doing that. All the central banks are doing it in a coordinated fashion. So we're all being fucked equally. So there's no safe havens to turn to or pivot to in terms of fiat currencies. And not too many people have enough gold stashed up where they can go out and buy their groceries with gold or silver, right? Plus, you probably get a lot of really weird looks if you showed up at your local grocery store with pieces of silver to pay for, right? So this is the thing, folks. They have the power over your mind. They have the power over which is the most powerful thing. And they have the control over your money, what your labor, what your value, what you are worth, right? Once they've got that much power, yeah, you are living. This is completely fake. Right on, Dustin. Well said. Okay, sheesh. I wonder if this will be a testing ground for the rest of Canada. I mean, well, come on, look at Canada. Like, if you've been paying attention, obviously, Giselle, that Canadians are very sheepish. They fall for that shit, which is why I keep telling people all the time. It's right here. We got to get people's brains thinking about this stuff. But like I say, good luck on that. Our natural disaster relief. Yeah. Scariest word. Hi, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Yeah, that's fuck. Oh my God, right? What's Dustin saying here? If we use 1% of the world's natural resources, we would smoke ourselves into an ice age. So why keep humping the oil train? We need to evolve past oil-based products and renewables. I would agree that we're eventually going to have to transition to different sources of energy, but it has to be done. There's called a market, Dustin. It looks like you might be a fairly young man, learn about market economics, right? Because if you're listening to, once again, even if you might agree with me in this thing in terms of the COVID, once again, the media manipulates your mind in a myriad of ways and on basically every topic or subject. So I would say that, whether you're a fan of oil or not, it's going to be around and you need it. It's required. It's just a reality, right? Are we going to eventually at some point in time, because we live on a planet that does have, finite resources? Eventually, of course we're going to have, but there might even be times where we could change to transition to other sources that they might be much quicker depleted than other sources. We don't know this. This is a whole new experiment that nobody has any information to recall on because we haven't done it yet, right? The world has never tried to function under a full electric or renewable resources type of energy system. So it's all speculation at this point. But the market, people's choices, right? And if you incentivize people properly, the market can pivot and fix and correct some of these things that no governments can do, right? So that's the thing. Don't ever place your faith in the government. Place your faith in the market, because the market is competition oriented, which places the proper incentive structure. Because at the end of the day, humans all function under under incentive. We're incentivized to do things. The market properly incentivizes people. Government doesn't incentivize shit. It uses force. Central planning uses force and a monopoly. of that force to pick winners or losers. Whereas the market don't pick winners or losers. Winners rise by sheer fact of competition in the marketplace. Just like if you went to a race, you don't have to pick who's going to win the race, right? Who's going to win the race if as long as everyone's given the ability to stand up and perform on what they can perform in that race, the fastest guy or girl is going to win the race, right? You don't have to slow down the other people. You don't have to trip up your competition. The one that's going to win is the one that's put in the most work and effort because they've been incentivized to want to rise to the top, which most people are incentivized to, or the people that have that competitive mindset are incentivized. It always comes down to incentive at the end of the day, and the market does that almost perfectly. Same with the price mechanism, which once again is a product of the market. So I hope you understand that. Like I say, if you want to learn about Keynesian economics, which is absolute bullshit, it's government central planning economics, learn about that. Austrian economics and classical economics, right? Monetary systems. All this information is available to every one of us. Just type it into a Google search or any other search engine that you want to use. But this is information that's all readily available to each and every one of us. Not everyone has the competence or the ability to wade through and understand these things. You might have to, do some self-educating before you do. Learn about some of the terms that are used, right? But trust me, the information is out there that you'll see that the market functions beautifully under any scenario. Not to defend politicians with power grabs, but it almost seems like it's politically prudent to become authoritarian because the sheep are screaming for protection. Not to defend politicians with power grabs, but it almost seems like it's politically prudent to become authoritarian. I mean, anyone can make the excuse to head for authoritarianism. Like I say, but that's to pretend that you think the right people are going to, that's a problem with people. It's like, well, if I just get my benevolent overlords in there, they'll be, like I say, good luck in that belief, because the people that, like I said, think about the kind of people that want to go into positions of power. You really trust those people? I don't know. I sure as fuck don't, but hey, if you do your thing. I'm going to make out through this world whatever people do. It's not like I have any control over it. The great thing, though, is that Canada has a really small force, and there's no way they can cover the whole country even with marginal. Oh, I know that. But the sheer fact that they're making the threat, right? It's not that I'm worried or fearful that the lame-ass military in this country is going to take over 37. Although that's the thing. I think the largest percentage of the population in this country, it'd be easy to do so, which leaves the rest of us, which are a really small minority, quite vulnerable. Because even though there's only a few thousand, like even these 2,000 military on the East Coast, well, how many thousands of Atlantic Canadians would be willing to stand up and oppose that? Once again, not advocate for violence, just stand. Like I say, even if you're just standing arm in arm, say, no, you're not going to control this, and you're not coming bringing your military vehicles in here. Like that guy in Tiananmen Square, right? Standing in front of the tank. Completely peaceful. How many fucking Canadians have that fucking courage, right? I'd say not so freaking many at this particular time. Military is just another government program. They're looking to give the money so they can get more money on more military on yeah, of course. Like I say, it's all about incentivizing people to be on the dole of government and thankful that government's now the ones, because they'll think about it. Ooh, everyone else is going through these terrible economic hardships and don't have their jobs, but government will take care of me. Yeah, it is. You're 100% right on, is to keep people thinking, well, that's to maintain and expand on the faith in government, right? We need because these young people today, these millennials, haven't been all completely thoroughly indoctrinated quite as well, I guess, as some of the older generations. Well, they're trying to make up for lost time, and they're doing it through way of fear now, right? So agree, AJ. Agree. Way more of us normies will stand up. Well, you got a lot more faith in Canadians than I do, Giselle. I just don't have it. Because I'm just dealing with the reality that I see. Right? I don't see it. I don't see any of my neighbors even coming over and asking me, like, hey, what do you think? Nobody fucking. Reality just doesn't allude to what you're suggesting. All it will take is a couple of snitches getting stitches to put an end to that crap. Well, people have been snitching on each other. The two tips. Canadians have been snitching each other. It's a fucking national pastime for some Canadians, right? So I don't know. Once again, a lot of you folks have way too much faith in your fellow Canadian. And it's like, where are you getting that faith from? You must be seeing something that I'm not. Gun sales in Kamloops, BC is up 5,000% daily since Doom. I don't doubt that for a minute. Hey, what's going on? My name's 604. Fuck Google right now. Hey, if you haven't already, can you like the stream, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate the help. It isn't normal in Western society. Okay, let me get back to see what else I was going to cover here, folks, because like I say, a lot of stuff here, a lot of stuff. Want to make sure I'm getting through as many of these things as humanly possible. Yeah, now they're talking about too. Well, I won't even bring this up on the screen. They're just talking about cannabis bankruptcies, because we all knew these cannabis companies were going to fail anyways, because trying to compete with the black market. Yeah, good luck with that. Even though they thought government would be able to prevent the black market from continuing to flourish, right? Once again, placing way too much faith in your thought leaders and your overlords. But now they're saying cannabis bankruptcy is starting to roll in as pandemic halts financing, right? Okay, it's not the pandemic that's going to be the reason, but they'll use, everyone's going to use the excuse. They're setting up the narrative for future, like for the future. So they'll use all these articles that they're putting out now to reference at some point in time in the future and say, oh, see, this is why, right? They'll say, oh, it was coronavirus. It was COVID-19 that caused all these cannabis bankruptcies because look, it was being reported at the time that way. This is how the propaganda campaign continues on and keeps people stuck in the doldrums of mindless conformity to their political masters or thought leaders. Is they'll do this now, and then they'll reference the exact same articles at some point in time in the future to say, oh look, which is why I counter that stuff, and I have my own record of archive where I've pushed back against the rhetoric. So I have the countervailing narrative, but once again, doesn't mean shit if I'm out in the forest. You know, if I'm just standing out in the back forest yelling it and nobody's there to hear me, well, they'll win the propaganda campaign if there's nobody listening to what I've got to say. So let me close that one out as well. Oh, and there's this article. Once again, all these articles are going to be in the description of my video when I'm done. So all this stuff, but it's this one here. Let me just show you for Canada. So actually, I don't even have it. COVID-19 provincial breakdown in Canada. So there's 15,433 cases, 277 deaths as of Sunday. So, 15,000 cases for all of Canada and 277 deaths. So once again, perspectives. If you want to use these numbers, the reason why I use this, we'll link all these things in the description of the video, because once again, you can use this article and use the numbers being reported out of this article and compare it to how many Canadians, maybe in a 3 or 4 month time frame, die for a myriad of things. Once again, to put things into perspective. It's not to suggest that these aren't bad, that there's 277 people who have died, but once again, compare these numbers over the same kind of timeline with all the other ways that Canadians die, and you'll find out that the 277, based on the reaction, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't correlate. Once again, close that one up. Oh, and once again, I'll bring this actually. And this is actually one of the most important aspects that I believe, which is why the people, que bono, who are benefiting from all this shit and destroying the economy, right? Who's benefiting from this, and who's been the loudest voices out there hammering away in the hopes that something would bring down capitalism or the West, right? Who? It's the socialists. It's those eco-fucking fascists or these environmentalists, these authoritarian dipshits. And yeah, this is what they're doing. So as you can see in this article, actually, let me expand on the text, like I say. Once again, Mises Institute, a U.S. think tank, libertarians, of course, how the left is trying to blame capitalism for COVID-19 deaths. This was contributed on, where's the date? Oh, 4 hours ago. So it must have been, was it yesterday or today? So it's so recent that it hasn't even got, the date will come up when it's gone past 24 hours. As reported by Bradley Thomas, not hesitating to exploit a health pandemic to advance their ideological agenda, Jacobin magazine on March 26 published an article attempting to proactively blame millions of coronavirus deaths on capitalism. Where's the millions of coronavirus deaths? So far there is no such thing as millions of coronavirus, but once, of course. And these people know to appeal to the dumbest the fuck among us, which is like, and that's the people that'll fall for that bullshit, right? And it's titled "How Capitalism Kills During a Pandemic." The article advances the tired slogans about free markets placing profits above people. What a fucking fail that is, buttressed by faulty and at times self-contradictory arguments that prove unpersuadable. So, anyways, like I said, that'll be linked in the description of the video as well down there. Going to get back in the chat, see what a few other people are saying. Like I say, Lots of stuff to cover. Mhm. Logical Canuck. Wow, the passion just now. Love it. Oh, thanks, Logical Canuck. By the way, yeah, if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I'm a very passionate dude. I always have been. I can't help it. I was born that way. Right. And I don't think no one's ever going to beat me out of it. Beat it out of me. There's been many times in my life where I'm sure a lot of people thought that they could have beat a lot out of me, but I don't know, for some reason I'm very resilient. You can't do much. Oh, lots of people in the chat there now, so I'm going to scroll down. They can always pay older Canadians to work, workers 15. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, back to like probably talking about the farming and stuff. Hey, what's going on, Josh Leanhart? Nice seeing the chat. Once again, I'll ask you as well to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Because even my subscriber count never seems to go up. I ask people to do it all the time, and my subscriber count never goes up. It's like weird. Nobody's subscribing, or what the hell? Anyways, catching poultry in Elmira, Ontario. I put ads out in the high school. Eventually, we had to switch to immigrants, which hurt my pal. Yeah, I mean, like I say, and all it is to destroy all you younger folks in particular, right? Or even middle-aged people, your ability to have a decent livable wage. It's just this race to the bottom, and it's like I know people have to work, but this constant participation in this race to the bottom is only going to assure that it actually comes to fruition, right? I don't know if I could plant potatoes in Spanish. You don't have, right? What's going on, Leonard McCauley? You don't have to speak when you're planting potatoes. Canada's mint is closed. Cannot get my precious metals from the bank. Really? Wow. Wow. I worked with horses for years. It's a great way to get into shape. I still have people who actually pay money to exercise. Yeah, that's same with me. Being especially when I'm in construction, even for the last what was it, 6-7 years when I was doing construction. Even though I'm a little bit of older guy, but yeah, like some people are like, oh, I got to go to Good Life, pay my gym membership, put up with all these sweaty fucks and wiping them down, and like just a bunch of dipshits in there. It's like, well, I'm getting, like you say, if you work a good, solid, hard day's work of manual labor, yeah, you're getting paid to work out, to get in shape, to perform your exercise. I think that's a great thing. I'm totally in agreement with you there. There's nothing wrong with a honest day's fucking work, even though a lot of people don't like it any day these days. It seems to be just, remember, NEP and PET. Yeah, God help us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I believe you, Josh. I'm not suggesting that you're falsifying what you said at all, buddy. Canadian Mint. Okay. Let me just move it down here. Is Bitcoin flipping over again? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the whole cryptocurrencies there, Dustin. Unfortunately, damn it, because I wasn't quite in the know with these cryptocurrencies. I don't like get caught up into Ponzi schemes because there's been so many of them over the course of my life that I knew there were these, but now, because I was privy to it when they were being traded like real early on to like just pennies on the dollar when the Bitcoin. And if I think of it now, it's not like, but really for it to gain in that valuation, I probably would have been screwing a lot of other people to get to that point. So that's why I don't like playing those fucking games. But I mean, it could have really helped me out economically. But I don't even want to try to convince myself to make the excuse because obviously some of it is somewhat speculative. I'm just hoping that these cryptocurrencies will eventually in time give us the opportunity to have a decentralized currency. I still think we're going to have to have things that aren't just digital in nature. As much as I appreciate some of these blockchain based technologies and cryptocurrencies, I still believe that we need things that have that are tangible, something that you can stash somewhere, right? That will retain that income, that wealth, or that money that you've built up over time, right? As a way to save. But I am grateful that there are potential outcomes or options. If they do destroy the economy entirely, it would be nice to be able to at least have somewhere where you can transition into where you can still do economic exchange, right? The three necessities of money, right? So a way to measure value, a way to exchange value, and a way to retain value. I'm hoping that some of these cryptocurrencies will prove to do so. And it seems like Bitcoin and Ethereum have the best potential for that. Actually, I'm not sure if you folks are familiar. I haven't seen the video upload yet, but I did an interview actually on this gentleman's channel, AGX, I believe it's called, AGX Media. And they have a silver-based cryptocurrency, like silver-backed cryptocurrency. So you're backed with an actual tangible asset. Like I say, he interviewed me. The video's not up on there. I'll share it soon as it's done. We had a great chat. But yeah, there's lots of new options that are coming out there, at least to give us some options that we may very well need. Who knows, right? I mean, for sure. Because right now, yeah, the way they're printing money, they are always, every day, your purchasing power is being destroyed little by little, right? It's not dropping off quickly. That's the thing. When they do this death by 1,000 cuts, it's not so severe, one cut at a time, right? But eventually that adds up over time. You devalue your currency, even if it's 2% a year, in 25 years, there's 50%, although it goes a whole lot more than that. But that's half of your purchase power in that time frame that's completely destroyed. So I know lots of people who would work for that price. I make 25 an hour and I do roofing. I know lots of people who make less than me. Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, AJ, when I was doing construction, I was actually amazed in Ontario. Now I wasn't into the field, so I had to kind of start into these things at the lower end of it. So I kind of get that. And if you stay with the company long enough, but that's the thing, there wasn't a lot of companies that were willing to keep people for a long time. But yeah, I was working when I first started, after I lost my license and all that shit, and you guys know all that story. But yeah, what was it? 2012, the first year, the summer of 2012 was the first year I went to Ontario back into construction, and it was in new home construction. And yeah, they were only paying about 16, 17 bucks an hour. Now I'm sure it's higher than that now, obviously. But when I went and got that pay, I remember I told my first boss, like, wow, because I remember back in 1990 or 91, when I worked in a lumber yard, I was getting paid then almost 13 bucks an hour. And that was, 25 or so years ago, more than 25 years ago. It's like, what the fuck? You guys are only paying a couple dollars more now, 25 years later. Back in 91, the price of gas was like 39 cents a liter. Rent was like 300 bucks a month. Like the cost of things were so much more, like so dramatically cheaper than they are today. And yet they were only paying a couple bucks more an hour. It's like, holy shit. Right. But everyone's trying to offload. So the government fucks everybody's ability to get rich or to profit. So if you're a business owner, you're like, well, I'm going to want to still get more of my chunk. I'm tired of being ripped off by the government. So you pay your employees less as a consequence or a result, because you feel it's unfair that you're being ripped off by government. What I would always suggest, like, well, maybe the employer and the employee, maybe you should all fucking rail against government that's taken the bulk of that income, right? And say, fuck the government, maybe find a way that you can pay your employee more without big government knowing what the fuck you're doing, and you could both be better off, right? But that's the thing, when you pay based on our Canadian dollar, well, no matter what you do, you're going to have that devalued on a continuing ongoing basis. Anyways, just a small little rant on that. I don't own the farm. If you're going to bitch about more than $25 an hour for a bit of labor, which requires no education, you can fuck off, right? It must not have been. That wasn't me. So you sure as heck weren't talking to me about that. If you're going to bitch about more than 25 for a bit of labor, nobody said anything. This is the problem, though. Here's the problem, though, Josh. Let me just tell you. It's like I say, everyone's contributing, participating in the race to the bottom. So as much as what it is you're being ripped off because the value of your business isn't being properly represented, right? Because of big government, central planning, and the destruction of our actual genuine free market. A free market would tell you exactly what your business is worth or what what you provide, just like labor, right? Wages. That the market would anticipate that, and it'd be reflective of the reality on the ground. Whereas the way we're functioning now, with so many subsidies, tariffs, and the manipulation and intervention of big governments into the economy and into the business world, like I said, everyone's like, well, hey, I'm getting fucked. So they're just looking to, it's like, I don't want to get fucked over, so I'm just going to have to pass that on. I get it. It probably would seem for you that it's ridiculous to pay someone $25 an hour to do that. But you know what it is? That person that would be asking for $25 an hour, it's not that they really need it or require or want it. It's just they recognize that, well, the cost of housing is X, the cost of food is X or Y, and the cost of, the tank, gas in my tank or your vehicles, all those things, they're taking all that. And as a percentage of their disposable income, they're seeing that it's being outstripped by inflation. So they're asking for what you would perceive as they're asking too much. Well, no, the government is asking too much. And they're saying, well, I just want a little bit back of the value of my labor and what I provide. It's not that you wouldn't have to pay someone $25 an hour today if you didn't have government, constantly destroying the purchasing power of our money and devaluing the currency. That's the problem. So don't blame the employees for wanting to get a livable wage. Just point out that it's not my fault. I can't pay you anymore because government's fucking me over too. That would be a better way to explain it than just, say that, oh, how dare these people expect more money than that. We're all being ripped the fuck off, right? So now everyone's just pissed off at each other. Like I say, stop focusing on your attention on each other and hating on each other, employers and employees, and recognize who are really destroying the economy. All those fucks that are making money hand over fist, not doing a goddamn thing. At least you're providing a business, or someone else that's providing business, or at least the employees in the private sector or the workers are out there doing the things that are actually required to keep, our societies functioning. Whereas these government fucks, these bureaucrats are making much, much more than that $25 an hour to what? Sit around and do nothing. We already know. Look at how many of them are sitting home now, still getting a paycheck though, right? And not essential service, which means we don't really need them at all. The fact that they admit that they're non-essential services tells you that then I guess you didn't need them after all, do you? They're not essential at all, but yet they're getting paid a whole lot more than that guy that's going out, that's willing to work on the farm. And I guarantee that person that's willing to work on the farm, even the lowly nobody that's just stacking hay, right, is still doing a whole lot more and is more productive and valuable than all these dipshits in government, obviously, right? So that's just my little rant on that. And it's nothing against you. Like I say, it's just that we got to stop pointing fingers at each other, man. They love it when we're fucking with each other, employers versus employees, the bourgeois versus the proletariat, right? Ooh, the working class versus the evil business owners, or the 1%, the 99% winning rally. Stop that fucking, like I say, that's how they keep us all manipulated, controlled, is by fighting amongst each other. And while they sit up there propped up upon their thrones, like living the most lavish lifestyle based on nothing more than the fact that they're part of government and they can get that forced wealth and income redistribution because they get paid no matter what, right? They don't give a shit. There's no such thing as the government going bankrupt, although I'd love to see that someday. I mean, if you spent the way the government did, you would have been bankrupt long ago, right? Why? Because a private business can't economically enslave entire generations to pay off the debts that they're incurring now. As do I. I was happy to work for 25 or even 20 for the small amount of work entailed. Yeah, I totally get that. And like I say, I even worked for $16 an hour. At my age, I was insulted by what they were offering. But because I understand how things work, it's like, whatever. Listen, if I could pay the bills, and it was rough. I mean, I took quite a downgrade, to be honest with you, having to go with that. And I had to swallow a lot of fucking pride. Right. I was down at the bottom of the totem pole again, when meanwhile I had my own business back here. Like as a truck driver, I was in control of my own, machine. Like I was in a great position, and they knocked me all the way down, and it wasn't easy for me either. But once again, I wasn't necessarily looking to blame the employers because I understood what was taking place. And to me, because I'm not so greedy after all, I just, as long as I can take care of business, but I would always point out that, we need market oriented wages, not central plan manipulated and basically imposed wages, right? So would we have an ice age or a global melt from using oil? Oh, yeah. Okay, let me scroll down because I'm getting a little behind here. What happened to the mass outcry against tyranny? I'm here. I'm still here, Derek. I'm still here, man. Bitching every day. Doesn't do me a lot of good, though, like I say, because we're quite a small minority, as we're seeing. We'll burn up and freeze to death at the same time. Well, that's the thing. As a Canadian, especially on the East Coast, particularly, fucking still lots of snow out on the ground. Bring on the global warming, man. What the fuck? Well, actually, they don't even call it that anymore. I've been talking to the people back here, and I guess the last few winters it's been more snow than typical. So it's a thing. All this shit is just they manipulate our mind so bad that people don't know whether they're coming or going. We stop using oil, that would not stop other countries from buying up the market. Yep, low oil price hurts Russia and Saudi, so this is why they want to control of the oil so they can set the price. Yeah, yep. The market would be the proper way to determine the price of oil, because right now, if you think about how the oil is being traded, what did it get down to? $3, I think it was $3, and it was less than $4 that the oil in Alberta was going for. you know damn well that's not a proper market valuation for oil in 2020, an entire 45-gallon drum. Now I get there's lots of value added, there's lots of added costs that incurred, which is why it doesn't trade at the same level as like West Texas Intermediate or Brent crude, right? But come on, Canadian oil trading at $3 and change for a barrel, a 45-gallon drum. You know that's not market prices. It's all manipulated prices. And if they price fix and create our own Canadian cartel, that's not going to be based on market forces either. No, the market would tell us what oil should properly be based on the law of supply demand. That's the beauty of the market, folks. Oh, I see somebody did a check. Actually, yeah, did I turn on my I forget to check to make sure I turned on my, well, if there's a $5 donation, there must be monetization that is turned on for this. Anyways, let me scroll down. Is that showing up here? How did that happen? I'm trying to bring it up. Thanks, equalist, not feminist. Feminists, keep it the great word. I appreciate it. Let me scroll down. Trying to bring it on the screen here. There we go. There we go. $5. Thank you very much, equalist, not feminist. Actually, someone else joined my Patreon and must have been $10 monthly donation. It was Keith. Keith, is Keith in the chat today? Yeah, his name was Keith. Anyways, I sent a return message back to him, thanking him again. Because like I say, well, as you folks know, I've said this before, I won't waste too much on it. I mean, at my views, the rate of views I get, I can't even, $100 is, you need to meet the $100 threshold for YouTube to pay you out. I wish that I didn't even have to monetize my channel, but I mean, I can't work for free for the rest of my life, right? And I don't want to be one of those guys that has to constantly beg for money all the time. It sucks, but obviously I'm not working. I to do what I do, I can't be out. I tried there for a while, balancing like having a full-time job and doing this. I can't do both at once, right? And I'm lucky I'm in a situation that I don't require much. Me and the wife paid off the mortgage. We don't have no credit cards. So very minimal, but for me, like, I do need to have some money, and $100 a month. No, nobody, even when I was delivering paper route in the 1980s, delivering newspapers, the Toronto Sun in Scarborough, Ontario, I made more than that. So I think what I do, I think what I provide is at least worth more than, $100. I don't, like I say, I wouldn't even care if it was $1,000 a month, right? Like $5 a month times 100 people, there's 500. So 200 people give me $5 a month, and there's $1,000. I'd make that work. I'm not a greedy man by any stretch of the imagination, but for me to do this and have, that's the other thing. Psychologically, it would be much more comforting me to worry about, we're still going to be able to pay the bills. Like, even if the wife's not getting enough hours, she's getting plenty of hours now, but the hours fluctuate because they don't want to give people in retail full-time hours, right? It's like 30 hours, 28 hours. But if I had some kind, just the slightest bit of cushion, it could put me even myself in a much better state. And I'm trying to do this without any extras these days. I don't even drink any alcohol. I kind of reduced because I don't have any money. I do like to smoke a little weed because it helps you kind of chillax at sometimes, but I'm so goddamn broke, I can't even use anything. I drink coffee. I guess that's why I'm so anyways, forget about me getting all into this personal stuff. Let me get back to the chat. Thank you very much. And I see AJ too. Thanks, AJ. AJ's always good for that. You're a great guy, AJ. I really appreciate you helping me out, buddy. And you do that on quite a regular basis. And I really do. I hope you all know that I definitely don't do this because I want to take advantage of anyone. As you all know, and I mean, AJ knows for sure, I put myself out there all the time. And it's not just what I do on my videos. You got to think to get myself up to speed and all these things, I got to spend huge swaths of my day making sure I'm educating and informing myself so that I'm confident enough to deliver the kind of information that I do. So yeah, it's worthwhile. Hey, thanks, Rainy Steps. Appreciate that too. Awesome. Appreciate that. 279. That's every little bit helps, folks. And like I've said so many other times, even if I know some people don't want to go on PayPal because I know PayPal, I think it asks you your banking information. But if you want to do this stuff even through Patreon, like a monthly donation through Patreon, even if it's only $5 a month, that helps me too, right? And Patreon takes a lot less. I don't know if you folks know. Well, I know AJ knows, but freaking YouTube takes 30% of this, right? So out of like $3, they're going to take $1. Like, holy Christ, YouTube. Like, why so much? I don't know why they have to take 30%, but they do. It is what it is. But thanks again there, Rainy Steps. Oh, I see another one. I only have, oh no, good. Hey, listen, like I've said to so many other people, if you can't donate, and I know, like, because unfortunately, the people that would be watching my channel are probably people in some precarious situations like myself. So if you can't, don't like the people that can't donate any money. like I say, another way to help is just to share my stuff, right? Share my stuff, or even if you don't necessarily want to share just absorb the information and repeat it to help me. Because to me, the most important thing is that we spread this information around so that the Canadians that are out there are getting something that's counteracting the narrative that the media is hammering away in. Anyways, let me take a breath here. Friggin' I'm a big, and plus I'm missing out on some of the chat here. So let me scroll back down here. Thanks again, everyone, for the donations. GTO Mama, I made $17 an hour in 19. Yeah, that makes sense. Because like I say, at that time, it was in a lumberyard. There were definitely jobs that were paying more. What it was I was in ship and receiving, driving a forklift, the outside ones, because one of the big yards. It was called Ziner Lumber in Agincourt, Ontario is where it was. Actually, if any of you are familiar with the place, it's one of those, it's the big outlets. Like, it's not just your little kind of retails like Home Depot. It's one of those big, like, wholesale type lumberyards. But yeah, I know for sure that if I was making $13 an hour just doing shipping, receiving, driving forklift, then for sure there were people definitely getting paid. Well, I know that because I had people that also worked in lumberyards. Like my stepdad was the foreman, and he definitely made probably even more than that. And back what? So this would be 30 years ago, right? 30 years ago. And as you're probably familiar with GTO Mama, the cost of everything back then was like 1/3 or 1/4 of what they are today. So yeah, we actually had some, although it was constantly being eroded even back then, but think of how much more it's been eroded since the 90s till now. When at $17 an hour, you had more purchasing power at $17 an hour in 1990 than even if you're getting paid $30 an hour in 2020. It's way outstripped in comparison, right? So labor-backed currency. Yeah, I've never heard that. Sounds it. Yes. Well, think about it. Money has to be, the only thing is how would you measure the labor, right? So that would be a difficult one. But like I say, because really the proper function of money is literally, it's just like math, right? It's just it's a way to measure. Like I've said, I'll say it one more time. Money, proper money, not fiat currencies, not government, not central planned fucking plastic bills now that they just churn out of the machine. But proper money is, like I say, it's a way to measure your value of whatever you provide. So whether it's labor or an idea, like the intellect, people that create these things, like these social media platforms, they're creating it. So that came from their mind, right? The guy that invented Google or Facebook, like Zuckerberg, that wasn't labor. Now, it did require, to put it into fruition, there was some labor that had to take place, because you had to have people building the plastic or all the equipment, right? The infrastructure, all that stuff. So there is labor involved, but the original idea of Facebook, Zuckerberg, that value, that had value too. So yes, money should be a representation on the value of your labor or your ideas and how that comes to fruition in the real world. So yes, we should have something that has the way to measure it, to exchange it, because we got to exchange it too. Because I might come up with something that deems that my labor is worth X, right? You do something that your labor is worth Y. If we're doing two totally different activities, the way to figure it out is the market forces and how a market works, how you figure out how that exchange works. Think about it. You know how easy it is to figure out. If I was digging a ditch, right? If I'm a ditch digger, let's say we're going back to just shovel, so it's all manual labor rather than a backhoe or an excavator. Let's say you're digging a ditch and another person is cutting down trees with an axe, right? So it's all manual labor, just to make it simple. How do I know how many trees, how many feet of ditch do I have to dig that would measure to a guy cutting down, let's say, one tree? Well, how you figure that out under a proper free market scenario is where you figure amongst each other, how much are you willing? If you say, well, it took me, let's say a half hour to dig, a 4-foot section of the ditch, and it took you half hour to cut down a tree by, that's 12-inch circumference or whatever, right? That's how you figured out, because you would recognize, well, is it worth the trade? If the guy's saying, well, I dug, 50 feet of deep ditch that took me 3 hours, you cut down one tree that only took you half hours, like, well, no, we're not going to trade that equally, right? No, we got to, and the way that would function is because you would know, because you'd be willing. It's voluntary. You would be willing to make that exchange voluntary. That's how you know. Just like if you want to exchange 2 eggs for a loaf of bread, you're the one that's going to make that determination of whether you think it's a fair trade. So free market, there's no force imposed. It's not telling you have to do that. Is You'll do it because you recognize that there is a proper exchange of equal value, right? And then the last and least, and then I'll move past the whole macroeconomics and all that stuff, is a way to retain that value, because you might not want to spend that today. You might not want to just exchange, a guy cutting the tree down and you dig in the ditch. You might want to save that money that you got from digging the ditch or whatever and just save that for some other day, sometime in the future, your retirement fund. So that money you want to save, you need to make sure that it can't be devalued, because digging the ditch should be this worth at least the same, unless you find more efficient ways, right? Then that might reduce what you would get. Like if it's more efficient, like if you get a backhoe and you can dig that ditch in 2 minutes and it only uses like what, 1 gallon of diesel, and diesel costs $2. Well, now there is the efficiency factor that's going to be brought into it. But once again, the market, folks, that's how it's taken care of properly. And to retain that value, that's the most important thing, which is why most people don't save today. Is even if you stashed your dollars, if you had a 1,000 US or Canadian dollars stashed under your mattress, in 10 years, because of the constant devaluation of it, well, you might have $1,000 bill, let's say, but that $1,000 bill, when you go out to spend it in 10 years, is like, oh, you mean I can only buy a fucking loaf of bread with this exact same $1,000 bill? I used to be able to buy, whatever, right? 2 big screen TVs at Best Buy, right? So yeah, it's the retention of the value. And I'll move on past that, because I know a lot of people don't usually get too hyped up about macroeconomics. I'm a big fan of economics. I think it's because I'm a bit of a math geek and stuff. When I was younger, I love math and problems and calculations and problems. So, even building engines like porting and polishing is, I just love getting into the nitty gritty of things. I'm one of those people that just love figuring shit out. So I guess that's why that stuff kind of appeals to me, but I understand why it doesn't to a lot of people. I remember when gas was 45 cents a gallon, 1975, 75. Geez, it must've been lower than that. Where did you live? When Trudeau said, in 75 though, that was because after the oil embargo. So yeah, there was a point where the oil did go up, but then it came back down. So yeah, that might have been the case. In 1975, I would have been only five years old, so I wasn't probably worried too much about a gallon of gas. But it's a gallon. Sorry, my bad. I'm not even thinking, because liters. In the 70s, yes, everything was still done in gallons. So yeah, my bad, because that would be actually 90 cents. So around $1.80 for 4 liters, in and around there. Well, it depends on if you're talking US gallon, 3.78, or Canadian, which is just over 4, I believe, or whatever. But yeah, I get what you're saying now. Yeah, sorry about that. Had a little bit of a brain fart there. I'm trying to keep too much stuff. Anyways, moving on. Only reason why GST was instituted to get into the employer's books for taxation. Anything about government taxation is always to take away. It's forced. Taxation is just forced wealth and income redistribution. That's what it is. Taxation is theft. Hashtag, right? It is legit. Exactly, back when $5 was minimum wage. Yeah, and that $5, like I say, I made $5. It would have been around 1985, 86, and that $5 an hour was enough. Me and my wife had the kids when we were still in our teens, and at that time would have been when I was, maybe $9-10. But we raised 2 kids, right? We had roof overhead, we had food, all on that. And I was the only one working. My wife wasn't working. We did all of that on what today people say, no way you can live. And the reason why that is because government's destroying the purchasing power of your money. But yeah, right on, Dustin. Sin alegria, just the fact that people lost jobs will not have enough money to spend. Who's going to buy? This will bring the rest of small businesses. The small business, that's the other thing. It's the small businesses who are going to see the worst consequence of this, which once again, we're going to end up, if we allow this to function without any market to correct this properly and let the small and medium business have a chance at it, but government's going to fuck it. So the only people that can operate in the environment post the coronavirus and after the economy's been fucking destroyed are those who are the biggest pigs at the trough, right? The big corporations are the ones that's going to make out like bandits after this. And every time you see the hollowing out of those medium or small businesses, well, that's your middle class, right? There's your middle class. That's a large representation of your middle class are those small and medium business owners. So yeah, that's completely wiping out the middle class, where now you're literally back into the Marxist bullshit, where it's just the proletariat and the bourgeoisie, the super, super ultra wealthy, the rich, the connected class, and the rest that are all fucking serfs living down at the bottom again, right? Straight up. AJ, anytime we have a government who offers an alternative than paying more to your laborers, the company will take the alternative every time. You fix it by removing the alternatives that's based on, yes, exactly. Right. It's all, the market does a perfect thing in terms, a free market does it perfectly in terms, because it's all a market is. When people hear the word market, they think it's like it's some mystery. It's just us. That's all it is. A free market is just free people. What would you be willing to pay or provide, whether, no matter which side of that you're on, right? The employer or the employee, the consumer or the seller. In a free market, all it's saying is, what would you really pay? What would you voluntarily pay for that? Or what would you provide? How much would you, what would you set in terms of your price if you were the employer or the one that's building the, it's just allowing freedom. It's freedom just allows us to come together and figure out voluntarily how that would unfold. And the only way it would unfold, the only way the interaction would happen is if we agreed to it voluntarily. When you have government that says, oh, you have to, we're going to force you into this relationship, you have no choice in the matter. Well, then there's no semblance of a price mechanism, because it's, you'll have to do it regardless, right? Same with insurance. The reason why insurance is so out of touch with the actual market is because it's mandatory. And if you have to have it, well, then they can price fix, they can manipulate, they can do all kinds of things. Bernier was going to control inflation. Bernier would definitely have been better than the rest, for sure. But once again, as we showed very clearly, that the PPC, it was a great, not just a thought experiment. It was actually more than a thought experiment, because, you know, I mean, we almost did get the entire field of 338 candidates. I'm a founding member of the PPC. I was on board, even though I'm not a fan of politics. I was more than willing to give it a shot myself. But think about what this happened, how it all unfolded, right? Is there wasn't even enough Canadians. Now, I get that the media definitely manipulated things and they portrayed Maxime as, you know, racist. And I know there was lots of negative connotation, but it also shows you that those same Canadians are falling for this shit today. They fell for a hook, line, and sinker and didn't even take one bit of time out of their day. Because if someone went to the PPC platform and read it, it'd be like, fuck yeah, that's way better than anything else, even no matter what file you're talking about, like gun rights, the economy, immigration, education, all the files, every one of them, like making sure that the oil sands were opened up. We could get some pipelines freaking built. All of the files were much better if you compare them against any of the established parties, Liberal, Conservative, NDP, the Green. But did Canadians even take the time of their day to go and even just check it out, see if the media was lying to them? Nope, they just took it hook, line, and sinker and left us all to, oh, well, too bad, so sad, you PPC, sad PPC supporters. And all we ended up getting was 300,000 people out of a population of 37 million. So think about it. 1% would be 370,000. So not even 1%, less than 1% of Canadians were willing to be even the slight, not bold like what I would be. I mean, listen, as much as I respect Bernier, I'd be way more bold, because there's no point in lying to people. I'll just tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. I would have been way more bold, but he knows he likes to, you know, you got to play the politics game, right? Well, if you're a politician. But even with him trying to play a little bit nice, not going crazy, he didn't even say cutting off, like, especially for those who are like against the mass immigration or the illegals pouring across the border. It was only to reduce it to 100 to 150,000. So it wasn't shutting off the borders or anything. But even under that, just quasi, like, it wasn't revolutionary by any stretch of the imagination. But even the slightest, the challenge to the status quo of the establishment, not even 1% of Canadians were even willing to try that. So that just goes to show you how much work we've got left to do in this country. Sorry, that's the same one here. I hope the government will subsidize gymnastic classes, because us Albertans will need them to bend over. Yeah, I hear you, Hammond Eggerson. Although you definitely don't want the government to do it, because if the government's going to subsidize it, well, once you bend over, they'll subsidize all right, but they'll force you to wear a condom with spikes on it or something. or they'll wear a condom with spikes on it. Don't trust government. They're not going to do anything that's good for you. I mean, look, it's just the way it is. Anyways, Terry M, what's going on, Terry M? This government rips us off and gives their money to lazy fucks of society. Oh, yeah. Constant, all day, every day. Like I say, got to keep enough people on the dole. And I'll repeat this one more time too, as you folks have seen, I've reported on multiple times in the past. In Canada, those 37 million, there's at least, and that number I haven't seen reported. I've been reporting on it for like, it's been a year and a half now. So, you know, they don't know the numbers have increased. But at that time, federal governments, provincial governments, and local governments, out of that 37 million Canadians, well, actually at that time, it was what? almost 37. It's just under 37, but 4.1 million Canadians work for government in some capacity. And if you're in a household where there's even one person that works for government, then other people in your household are definitely relying on that government largesse. So, I mean, when you already talk about that substantial number of the Canadian population that works for government, it's not in their best interest. And we all worry about our own self-interest at the end of the day. People can pretend to be benevolent all day fucking long. At the end of the day, they care about themselves first and foremost, and they're not going to shoot themselves in the proverbial foot or destroy getting that nice gold-plated pension once they retire at 55, right? So we got a lot of Canadians, and they're all part of our families, folks. You know damn well there's no Canadians in here even in this chat. There's people in your own goddamn family that when I'm talking about, you're like, oh yeah, no, I know. I'll admit it right now. Like I say, I've got lots in my family, especially on my mother's side. A lot of the ladies, 5 of my aunts, right? No, 4. My mother, there was 5 girls and 1 boy. There was my mother, 4 sisters, and her brother. My mother and her brother are the only 2 that never worked for government. The other 4, all of them, right? And that's just on my mother's side. So, and I'm not worried about them watching my stream. So, and even if they did, yeah, they need to hear this. I don't give a fuck. Like I say, I talk the walk. I talk the talk. I don't just talk the talk. I walk the walk. I hold people in my own family to account, right? So, Justin Trudeau works 20 minutes a day and is pulling over. Yeah, right? What the fuck? It's because he don't work in under market environment. If he was actually working under market environment, it's like, what do you provide? What are you worth? Not a whole lot, right? Not a whole lot. More than us, and we're smarter too. Gave himself, yeah, they all gave themselves raise. And yeah, if you go to university to deliver job application for farming, you won't get many bites. The employers likely did that on purpose so he could exploit the government. Yeah. A lot of employers are doing that. And I get why some of them are doing it. They're saying, well, yeah, but I'm getting, but it's like, stop passing the buck off to the little guy, for fuck's sake. That's the problem. Everybody's looking to offload, government fucking with them to whoever's lower on the totem pole, which just means the people on the lower end of the totem pole are the ones that get fucked the most. Has a privilege of spending. Yeah. The government has a privilege of spending someone else's money, and that's something the average taxpayer don't have the. None of us do, right? That's the difference between governments and us, is we have to function under. If you take something without someone's permission, that's called theft. Government, it's magic. We just call it taxation. Like I share that meme with SpongeBob. It's imagination, right? It's all fucking magic. It's all unicorns. Like, heck, I'd spend like a drunk sailor too if it wasn't my money. Yeah, well, right. I mean, you would definitely be incentivized to, right? Governments need to make its own money without taking ours. If they can't make enough money, they need to. Well, then you're not talking about government. Unfortunately, government is literally people that live off of that forced wealth and income redistribution. That's just how governments work, right? All governments function off the forced wealth and income redistributed model. So if governments didn't do that, well, they wouldn't be called governments. Oh, on a good note, yeah, I know gas is finally cheap, but the only reason why it's cheap is because they're trying to fuck our oil industry and everything like that. So I guess we can kind of all benefit from it, and I'm with you there. Like, we're all benefit from the cheap prices, but recognize our benefit is coming at other people's expense, right? Not that I want to pay more. Actually, I don't think the price of oil or gas would be any higher than this if it was under proper market conditions. But we're not functioning under market conditions, and at these prices, yes, it's great that we're getting the cheaper gas, but yeah, there's a lot of people out in Alberta and such that are being fucked over hardcore, as a consequence of these ridiculously low prices. I'm not saying that I'm complaining against the prices. Once again, I got to clarify. Yeah, but we can't. Yeah, gas is cheap. You're not allowed to go anywhere. It's like, what? Well, I guess you might as well start stockpiling. And you better, if you're going to stockpile, you better buy up some fuel stabilizer, because that's the thing. Even people think, well, I'll go buy it all up when it's dirt cheap. Well, yeah, if you know anything about gas, it doesn't take time for it starts to degrade, and then it's no longer usable. A year or 2 or so, or actually even after 6 months on some of that lower grade fuel, the 87 and stuff with the 10% ethanol and all that shit, it starts to deteriorate even much sooner than that. 90 cents in BC. Holy shit. Like, what the hell? I already said that, right? Equals. Yeah, I already seen that. Okay. Yeah. I'm just back down. So let me scroll down. because obviously I'm behind. Yeah, Ezra Levant and Spencer are two of the biggest. Oh, panhandlers. Oh, okay, really? Well, yeah, but they're trying to do their thing, though, right? I get it. Listen, I totally get that. No one, what it is no one likes hearing other people ask for money. Even myself, it's uncomfortable. I hate it, to be honest with you. I really fucking do. This is why just going to work for most people, just so, because, like, well, you have to get paid that way. But I hear you. But listen, they're trying to keep their, like, thank goodness, like, I'm not like Ezra, like, uh, some things I like about him, but hey, at least they're challenging the status quo. So they need to get an income too, right? Everybody's got to get paid. And Spencer Fernando, he puts out some pretty good articles from time to time. You just got to get paid. Like, people got to get paid for their efforts, right? That's the thing. That's why if we function under anything remotely resembling a market economy, then I would figure out, what am I worth? I don't know. I would find out if we actually function under a market environment. So, but I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what I provide is worth because we don't function under a market environment. I get it, buddy. Hangovers last 3 days when you're old. Okay, back up here. Life in the prairies rock when you're not on lockdown. Yeah, Keynesianism is shit. I agree with that. Trying to get down a little closer to the bottom of the chat here. It is all. What's this? Oh, wait. Hey, this is the underscore. Fake. Wake people just make them fight the cops. If you mean fight them in court, yeah, go for it. Right? But I'm not, if you're because it looks like you might be that person that was in the chat the other day. But whatever you do, like I say, I'm all for, talking and being vocal, like swear it. But don't, whatever you do, do not come to my goddamn channel and advocate for using violence. Because if you do anything that compromises or puts my channel at risk in any way, because it's not like I did it, but under collective punishment, I could be punished for something you fucking do. That's how fucking retarded shit is. But yeah, please, whatever you do. So obviously, I'm hoping, or I would suggest that you mean fighting the cops in court, right? For every fake ticket, every unlawful arrest. I'm with you. Fight against them proper way, right? Or get more of your fellow Canadians together to start thinking more critically about these things. That's what we got to do. But let's all advocate for, trying to bring about a resolution to this shit as peaceful as humanly possible, please, like I say. And not suggesting that there aren't other things. I mean, what you run through your mind or in the privacy of your home, that's your right. Just when you're out in public, just recognize that there are people who are paying attention to shit. And there are definitely people that would love to get some kind of excuse, to shut down my channel or something. Because then it'd be one less person out there, right? Pushing back against their bullshit. But anyways, but it looks like so far, everything looks okay so far from what I see. It's too bad that private's not in the chat there. Because like I say, it's not that I'm against anyone. I know everyone's frustrated. I know even some of you, when you're typing this stuff, you might not even really genuinely mean it. You're just pissed off in the moment. We've all said crazy, foolish things in the moment that we obviously didn't necessarily mean. Like, it wasn't a direct, but like, how many times have people like, I'm going to kill that motherfucker? But it doesn't mean you're going to do it, right? It's not a genuine, obviously people just say things out of frustration. But like I say, just for the sake of keeping things, like, so that nobody has the ability to fuck with us, like, just keep it out of the chat and out of the comments. That's all I'm asking for, folks. Because there's one thing I don't like doing is having to delete posts, and I don't do it very often. The only time I'll ever is, like I say, if it's where they're genuinely advocating for using preemptive force of violence or threats of it. Because then I realize it's not that, like, I just know that's just not going to pan out very good. But anyways, I had dug a few graves for a church cemetery before I even put the plate packer in the hole and rattled the poor bastard's corpse for a few minutes to compact for money. Yeah, well, hey, yeah, grave diggers. That was quite normal before backhoes, right? Before we had such thing as backhoes and the such, or the mini excavators and stuff. Yeah, that's just what people did, right? They won't get it otherwise. Oh, I agree with you. We definitely have to push back against that stuff. Hello? I don't know what this day of the rope stuff is. Head vets on board. What's this? Not even sure. I'm not sure what you folks are all talking about. Head vets on board here. Ronald Doucette, RFID, nanotech in the vaccines, the proverbial mark of the beast. All right, then. Being a cop in this country is literally one of the safest jobs. Yeah, it is. Truck driving. You look at the top 10 most dangerous jobs. Cops aren't even on it, but truck drivers are. And I was a truck driver. And even when I was a truck driver, I was like, what? I don't even feel that. Well, when I delivered down around, Elizabeth, New Jersey or the boroughs of New York, there's some spots, or even actually down in Atlanta, Georgia. A couple times I've been in a precarious situation where it's like, maybe not the safest place to be, but I never even considered it even remotely, or in construction. I've done both. And both of them are fields that would be in the top 10. Even under those, like, I never felt like I had to be fearful, right? Even though you're around a lot of heavy equipment, some pretty dangerous stuff. It's just practice common sense and a little bit of safe practice. But yeah, cops, I mean, come on, what the fuck? These are the people that literally, they're the ones that are running around with guns, bulletproof vests, like, oh, come on. Yeah, like, fuck, and to pretend that, they're putting their lives in when you're the one that's fucking armed to the teeth and you got a whole gang of other buddies that are armed to the teeth going out to a call where there's some reckless individual dude or something with a knife or something, like, or that Sammy Yatim on the streetcar, like, holy fuck, what a retarded way that whole situation unfolded, right? Anyways, don't even get into that stuff. Because I had a lot of disagreements with people with that whole thing, but because the Sammy Yatim was like, a Syrian or a brown dude. So whatever. Anyways, the industry studios, the prairies are great unless you live in Alberta where they have stricter rules. You guys must be chatting amongst each other. Love Alberta. Love the people. Right on. Awesome. Doucette. Yeah, I had lots of uncles that were out there in the patch. They're all back on the East Coast again now because, after 2014 and the price collapse, a lot of them lost their jobs and had to find elsewhere and took a huge, obviously, hitting the old paychecks, but private versus public car insurance, right? But yeah, I had lots of family members. Actually, a couple of them are still out there. Not nearly as many as most of them, though. It was 18, 20 million jobs, 50. So now it's like, okay. Well, yeah, AJ, yeah, working on roofs all the time in the fucking heat, slips and falls and lots of sharp edges around the tins and, like, yes, roofers and obviously have to climb up and down the ladders. Although nowadays, like, the roofer guys, at least the good thing about the roofer guys, most of the guys, well, the smaller outfits actually are still, lugging up and down, but you got the automatic carrier things or whatever the hell that help take the shingles and up everything up on the roof. So, but it's still, yeah, obviously your job is way more dangerous on a regular basis, right? So for sure, AJ. And by the way, would have been nice. I had to get a roof on my house there last year. Had to borrow money off the wife's brother for that one. But I was like, geez, it would have been nice to have AJ around. I'm sure he does a great job. Actually, these guys did a pretty good job. I can't complain. And because I do live on the East Coast, the price was much cheaper than it would have been if I had been getting a quote in Ontario. Wouldn't even want to guess. It was going on, Gary. Unless you're that cop in Richmond Hill, Ontario, he got his ass handed to him and should have shot the guy. I must have missed out on that one there, guys. Must have missed out on that. Like I said, I can't keep on top of all of it. Hey, what's going on? Never seen Chronos Trigger. Well said. Thank you, Chronos Trigger. If you haven't already, can you like the stream and subscribe to the channel? Once again, I'd really appreciate that. Oh, I see Leo Leo's in the chat. What's going on, Leo? If we expected things to be free, we wouldn't ask for a wage to do it. Exactly, right? I know it's an unfortunate thing, and I won't take too much time on it, but unfortunately in this modern, especially the internet age, there's so many people that are used to, like, things that they perceive as free. Actually, it's not even just the internet. Socialism is, like I say, socialism has destroyed our ability to think of what is truly valuable, right? It is. And that's why a lot of people just don't have any understanding of what the value of labor or things that even we do that we provide, right? I mean, even back in the day when we were growing up, even like something as simple as a cartoon, like, or a comic book or something, everything costs, right? It all costs because, the people that draw those cartoons, they got to get paid, right? Everything has a cost. If there's somebody that's providing labor or intellect, or they're providing something, it has to have value. It has to have some kind of a worth. And like I say, to figure out what that worth is to have a free market. Then we know what the worth is, because people, whatever you're willing to pay is what the value is. I could demand, I want more, ain't gonna mean shit, because the free market says I have to sacrifice my demands to what the market is willing to pay. But we'll find that equilibrium. That's the beautiful thing about the market. We'll find that equilibrium. Or if we can't find that equilibrium, then it means that I can't provide it in no way currently that we can make that viable. But somebody might figure out at some point in time in the future where they can. Like, there's lots of things that weren't viable in the past, but because of modern advancements in technology and equipment, some of the things that weren't economically viable in the past are today, right? Because we can get a whole lot done with a whole lot less. Anyways, I'm back into the economics of it here. Buy up gold, silver, and Bitcoin. Who knows where things are going? I agree. The problem with all these things is they're already outstripped at the point where gold is definitely worth, it's up, what, $1,500-$1,600, but it would have been nice to be able to buy that back in the, back in the 1910s or 20s, when it was trading at what, $20, prior, what was it, to the 20s or 30s, gold, was a $20 US bill. You could exchange that directly for an ounce of gold, right? $20. Now it's at 60. That just goes to show you, right? How outstripped the inflation has been when you compare it against something like a commodity or something tangible like gold that does have intrinsic value, right? 2020, the year of the e-bagger. Why YYC UAV? E-bagger. I don't know. Anyways, what's going on, Critical Thinker? Anyways, the people that say that it's the e-bagging is just, I don't know. It seems weird to me. Are you saying that people aren't worth anything? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. They hide the amount of oil we have. Governments make locally. They would start planting hemp everywhere, build refineries and bio. What's this? We have a huge National Socialist Workers community, but they don't vote because not even the Nationalist Party is any different than PPC, still parliamentarians. National Socialist Workers. Don't like the idea of the National Socialist Workers community. Yeah. Actually, that sounds a whole lot like somewhere else. Somewhere, what was it, in Europe? Somewhere back in the 30s, right? Anyways. Yeah. Well, that would be nice, but I hope we can get there someday. But yeah. And that's another thing, folks. Another thing about these government employees, all of their pension funds are pegged to inflation. So they're going to get theirs no matter what, right? No matter how much the currency is destroyed and devalued, their pension isn't going to be. Anyway, so I see, I guess it looks like everyone's it's a little slowing down. What I'm at, 156, going on 2 hours. Like I say, I only get 20 hours. If I could figure out a way to be able to, like, I got to find out how much StreamYard charges per month right now. Cause like I say, I'm still relying on the end of the month to get my money from YouTube. Well, it's not the end. It's 23rd, I believe, is when YouTube pays out. And this month I will get a payout because last month I didn't. So this month the accumulation will definitely, I would assume, be over $100. So at the end of the month, I definitely will be able to, but it's not going to help me out right now. And it's not like I could put it on I'll pay you later, right? You got to pay, right? So I'll have to try to figure it out, and hopefully I can find a way to get enough to pay StreamYards, because I like using StreamYards. I'd rather pay for it. I don't want necessarily just to live off of free, because like these people provide service. Now they're of course using my data in exchange, which is why they provide it for free anyways. But I would like to be able to have it so that I can use StreamYards more often and not have to be panicking how long I'm freaking taking so that I run out of time. That's the thing. It could be the biggest event or something that unfolds, be like, oh shit, I'm at 9 hours and 50 minutes and I don't have enough time left to start a stream, and then I won't be able to. So I got to figure something out about that somehow. And I got to do it soon, because this morning when I started my stream, it says I am getting closer to my limit. So I think I was only at about 12. So I have 20, but there's another 2. So I don't, anyways. Search. Oh, search YRP cop assaulted on YouTube. Looks staged. Yeah. Don't know, like I say. Okay, so seeing everything seems to be slowing down here. Oh, I see criticals down here. Let's see what I asked Michelle Rempel to do something real for the people and return their paychecks to the tax base. That would save four million a month in taxes. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Rather than the government, that's the thing. The government's going to put you on the dole. But if they were truly concerned about people not being so goddamn poor, stop fucking taxing the living fuck out of us. I mean, come on, the fact that Trudeau still implemented the carbon tax, I mean, that just goes to show you don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck about shit. What it is, they just want all the money come to them, and then they're the ones that get to pick who's the winners or losers. Oh, we'll give it back to you, right? Well, they'll give it back to the people that they deem worthy of it. But not everyone, but that's what I mean. Yeah. How everyone could be equally allowed to retain or maintain a larger semblance of the productivity of their labor or what they provide in society is stop taxing the living fucking daylights of the Canadians, right? Let's have a tax year holiday, Trudeau. I would like it every year, right? But if you're so concerned you want Canadians to not be so poor, then stop taking all of our fucking money, dipshit, and giving it out to everybody the fuck else. Just give me my cock-sucking money, and I'll take care of myself. Fucking Trudeau. What a piece of shit. Yeah, Rempel. Yeah, don't trust any of these fucking, like I say, they're politicians. They'll pretend because she probably feels guilty while she's getting her big fucking goddamn giant fucking income from that forced wealth and income redistribution. I don't trust any of them. I just don't. I'm sorry, folks. I just don't. Yeah, I'm contemplating using it, but my son knows all about it and Streamlabs. Yeah, Streamlabs OBS. I have got it figured out. I was trying it out there yesterday, and I do have it figured out now. My son was helped me figure it out, and but it's there's so many extra things I have to do. StreamYard is just, to me, in comparison, if you're one of those super savvy guys and just could and have all kinds of time to sit down and set everything up, yeah, Streamlabs is pretty good alternative. But this StreamYards, to me, it's well, Zoom and StreamYard seem to be really, really good. Zoom is obviously has more people using it, but I'm a big fan of StreamYards here. I think the way they've got it set out, the layout, how easy it is to share your screen, to bring people into the chat. I like it. So if I could, I would definitely prefer using this. It's much easier to even get it all set up. One thing I did notice that was kind of cool about the Streamlabs is you can multiple stream to different platforms much more readily. But what's this? They make $12,000 a month during the crisis. Oh, that probably the politicians. Yeah. But yeah, no, like I say, if worst case scenario and I don't have enough money and I do run out of time, I'll probably try to do a Streamlabs thing. I don't want to be left out or frozen out entirely. So I'll try to do whatever I can. But I definitely, if I had the choice, would like to use StreamYards. I'm familiar with it. I'm comfortable with it. I know how to navigate it. Do I have an email account set up for online banking? I will throw you a yard via e-train. Oh, thanks, Ron Doucette. Email set up for online banking. I do. It's not mine though. It's my wife's. I wonder if she would be cool with that. Hey, listen, Ron Doucette, if you're on any of those social media platforms and you want to send me a message, because I'd rather keep that kind of stuff private. I don't want to just, my wife might get pissed off if I could, but hers is set up. Mine isn't, but hers is set up for those e-transfers, because those are really easy, right? Everyone likes to do them now. And I think they're a great alternative or option. But yeah, just keep that in mind there, Ron Doucette. Like I say, Canadian Libertarian on Facebook. CAN_Libertarian on Twitter. I'm on Minds, obviously my YouTube channel. Even if you comment on the YouTube, we'll find a way anyways. Or what I can do is if you want to email me, Canadian Libertarian, all like, you know how it works for Gmail, Canadian Libertarian BH, my initials, Bennett Hunter. So Canadian Libertarian BH at gmail.com. And then we can communicate that way. And if I have to, help you get linked up to to the wife's account or whatever, then we can do it that way without having to do it all in a big public spectacle. But thank you very much if you can help. Not sure what the yard thing is though. I throw you a yard. Where does that come from? I'm not familiar with the yard terminology. But anyways, whatever. Anything at all, like I say, would be great. And yeah, let's move past because people are going to get mad that I'm e-begging. I don't know. Some people will, right? Oh crap. Oh, that would be really super sweet there, Randy or Ronald. Sorry. So like I say, just Canadian Libertarian BH at gmail.com and just send me a message there, and then we can communicate in more of a private manner without having to make it such a public thing, right? Okay. Yeah, I have a problem with it. I refuse at all costs, no matter what. Been threatened. Somebody's saying something here with the link. Oh, there you go. Foreign show. Oh, thanks for the email. Actually, let me write that down there, because that way, yeah, I can send you a message, right? Okay, that's what I'll do, Ronald. As soon as I get off here, just let me use actual pen and paper, right? And still going old school here a little bit there, folks. That's the thing. I keep lots of stuff on everything in electronic, but some of the real important stuff, which like this, like getting people's, I still do the old Ferenge or FERENGE at shaw.ca. Like I say, thank you really a lot there. And it's Ronald Doucette, so I know Ronald. I used to date a girl when I was younger in Scarborough. Well, I met her downtown around the beaches area. And actually, that's where she lived when I first met her, but she ended up moving to Scarborough. But yeah, she was a Doucette as well. Do you know her? No, just kidding. I hate when people say you share the last name of someone's like, do you know this person? Like, oh, there's 37 million people. Not necessarily. There's a few more of us than just one, right? Okay. So back up here. See what else is going on. Okay. Oh, and thanks for the suggestion there, Leo. I think, yeah, because that was what you used there for a while. Actually, it's what you still use, isn't it, Leo? You still use Streamlabs, right? And one thing about Streamlabs, like you say, because you can set up the pay thing too, right? A payment method. So that might be a better option too. Like I say, I'm going to keep all this on the table, because there's one thing I'm going to try to do is make sure I still have the ability to get myself out there. Yeah, good one, Sina Allegria. How can we infect fast people with truth virus? That would be nice. That would be nice. That would be nice if we could spread that around like a virus, although I wouldn't want to impose it mandatorily. I would like people to say they accept to do it voluntarily, right? Voluntary vaccine. Here, give me a big old dose of truth. Oh yeah. Oh, that feels good, right? I wish that was the case. I wish people actually, considered truth to be like a drug, and it was, something they craved as much as those of us. Well, there are some of us that do that. We do live in a post-nation state after all, right? Depends. Trudeau's like post-national state, but when you got to close the border to protect the ruling class, like all of a sudden now we have borders. So we are a state again. Are we, Trudeau? Which one is it, buddy? No, just buddy, right? Fuck that. It would be a good trial test to lick down on taxes being taken for a couple months just to see to lick down on taxes. Oh, that's funny. Let the Chinese develop the critical thinking virus. Hey, listen, I mean, to me, I don't care who, just critical thinking is something that we really need, and we need a lot more than UT. Yeah, it takes 30% off top of every. I know, isn't that crazy? I know. That's the thing, Ronald. It's 30%. Like, holy shit. Getting to be just like government these days, right? I have a big time problem with it, Ian. Like, I'm all for vaccines, but it has to be voluntary. And when people use think about it, the whole reason or pretense that some of those in the media and the thought leaders say that you need forced vaccines is because the herd effect, right? So if the whole herd, 95+%, are all vaccinated against these things, right? So whether it's just the flu or whatever these things are, well, then you get the herd effect. But yet now they're saying, oh no, we don't want to rely on the herd. We can't just allow people to get the virus themselves. We got to do it through forced vaccinations or mandatory vaccinations. Like, well, what it is they just want to have everything is all about control. They want to be able to control everything. At the end of the day, it's always about maintaining control. But to me, if it's forced, no. And to me, it's like whether they use whatever excuse they use, if they say, well, if you're not vaccinated, well, that makes, let's say they got a kid, because here's the excuse they use to try to impose mandatory vaccination is, So if you have a kid that's got some immunocompromised system and they can't get vaccinated themselves because the vaccine, may interact negatively with their system and cause them harm. They're like, well, I can't get my kid vaccinated. Therefore, we got to make sure everybody's vaccinated to protect my kid. Once again, same with the coronavirus. If your kid is that vulnerable and that susceptible, first of all, to rely on government, even if they do mandate, to make sure that that everybody will be, you're placing, once again, too much faith in these central planners and their ability to be that effective, right? To me, if I had a kid in that kind of compromised position, what I would do is I'd want to protect them from the public, because I can't know for certain if everyone has had their forced vaccinations, right? Because to make that happen for all 37 million Canadians, well, think about what kind of a police state you would have to have that. Then you're already in a completely fucked up scenario as it is. So you got a whole lot. If you get to that point, you got a whole lot more to worry about than if your kid's susceptible to having to be out in public and vulnerable to the virus or the transmission of whatever, right? So no, protect your kid, right? Do whatever you can, whether they're out in public or they're in the privacy of their home or isolated away from the public. If they have to come out in public, then protect your kid, right? Don't fucking force me to have to do anything. Protect those who you deem vulnerable. And I can't hammer away with that enough. It's to protect them. Doesn't mean you have to force us all into these goddamn, mandates, right? Because nobody knows if all these things are going to prove to be beneficial. They could cause harm to people too, right? So with the link, call me or email me. Oh yeah, I will do that. I will do that for sure, Ronald. I will do that. Because it's ID 2020, 2030. Yeah, I have a problem with it. I refuse all costs no matter what. Yeah, I agree. I don't believe in forced vaccinations. It's not right to force people into it. Not saying that people shouldn't. That's the thing. If it's something that's proven to be safe and effective, but that's the thing. That's, the reason why a lot of people are like anti-vax or all these is the people that are in charge of like the CDC or they failed and the propagandists in the media. What it is they've been woefully and inadequately informed, and they've been manipulated so many times that people just don't trust. And that's the fault. That's the responsibility of our thought leaders, right? And these people that are in these positions of supposed knowledge, or these experts. Stop fucking filming the people all the time. Stop blinding them. Stop manipulating them. And they might end up trusting you and would take these vaccines. If you could prove, like, to me, it's like, if you could prove 100% vaccine is going to be fine, it's not going to cause any harm to anyone, and it's going to help prevent the disease spread, I'd be like, yeah, here, sign me up. The reason why a lot of people don't is because we don't trust these places or these institutions or these people, because they've lied so many times and they've been caught with their pants down too many times. So that's their own failure. They might want to point to those of us who don't like mandatory vaccination, or you're anti-vaxxer, which I'm not. I've had vaccinations, not against all vaccinations, but they constantly, when they've lost the argument to the point where all they can say is, you're conspiracy theory or an anti-vaxxer. If all they got to offer is insults, yeah, no wonder people don't fucking trust you, right? That's the way I look at it. That's just my 2 cents. I know guys that were burned from 5G. Most people don't understand the dangers of electromagnetic fields. Yeah. Yes, the high wire is very based. Oh, not sure on the high wire thing here. What's this stuff? I'm not sure. The high wire with Dell Big Tree does great work in the vaccine. Oh, okay. So you're talking about vaccine stuff, like, say, drunk abused their. Yep. Yeah, right. To a drunk who abused their body past due. Once they lose or self-quarantine, we've lost our rights. We get in a car that kills 30 million a year, but 300 million a year, but we make that choice. Exactly. Listen, there's always threats. Every time you do anything, there's always, now some of them are really, really tiny, but there's potential dangers around every corner. But yeah, as human beings, you can't function living in that heightened state of fear that something might happen. I mean, once you get into the what if scenario, wow. Yeah. Playing that what if, you can expand that out to the point where people just will self-isolate and lock themselves up in a fucking, a frenzy to the point where they have no lives. Like, okay, yeah, you might be safe from any of these threats, but you have no life either. Now, that's that balance, right? It's the balance. PayPal me, Canadian Libertarian. Oh, thanks, Rika. Yeah, PayPal is great. PayPal, because I get it like boom, instantly. Well, same, I guess, with e-transfers you could do too, but, or wait now. Are you asking if that's the one? Yeah, I believe it is. Like I say, it's all linked on my YouTube videos. It won't be in this one yet because I have to go in afterwards and then add all that after the fact because I use StreamYards. Really sucks that YouTube got rid of our ability to do the streams already in YouTube because you would already have, I could have all that set as default. So that's in there already. Actually, I might even be able to do that here now. I have to maybe work it out and make sure so that I'm not putting more work on myself for no reason. Yes, link to PayPal if people are so inclined. Yeah, thanks. Tell one and have them tell another. Yes, okay, yeah, I kind of figured as much. Yeah, Streamlabs. Yeah, because when I was looking at it with the layout and stuff the other day, it's like, yeah, that looks like the one that Leo uses. Oh yeah, no problem, Rika. Thanks a lot. Like I say, I appreciate your help. By the way, it's a little late now today, but if you had been in the chat, because what Gato offered the other day, but of course I got to make sure that nobody's going to mess up and accuse people or misrepresent things. But it would have been nice to do even like what we did the other day, so that I can kind of focus on like the articles and stuff. But it would be nice to have someone that's willing to, when I do these streams, to come in and kind of go through the comment section, so you can kind of stay on top of things and help me get through the questions quicker. But either way, and I know that's the thing that means I have to rely on. And I would never. That's the thing. The reason why I don't ask anyone is because it'd be like, well, I'm asking you to do something for free too, because not like I can really afford to pay anyone, right? So, but anyways, don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. I think I've done a little better. I'm down the bottom now, so I'm getting better at this stuff, folks. Like I say, at least one thing I'm pretty good at is I do try to improve. I am one of them old dogs. I don't learn a whole lot of new tricks, but I can improve as best I can. I have an opinion on CV-19, the asteroid making an appearance around the what the hell, CV-19? Well, is that for real? Holy crap, that seems kind of weird, eh? CV-19, that seems a bit odd. Anyways, more fear mongering. That's all. Anyways, folks, so I see the chat slow down, and like I say, I've gone 2 hours, actually 2 hours and 15 minutes now. So I'm going to tie this up. And once again, appreciate all you folks. And I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more streams. It'll be a lot less videos. I know even before I said I wasn't going to do this 5-day-a-week thing, but I had a nice little break, like I was saying the other day. I had a nice little break, gave me a little time to get some things, get my mind a little bit in a clearer position. Like I say, I've even placed myself in a position where I am, and I'm in a much better spot in terms of like my mentality. I was getting frustrated a lot of stuff, and I don't allow too many people to fuck with me online. I kind of just ignore a lot of that stuff that I used to allow, kind of get me frustrated. So I'm in a much better mindset these days anyway. So I'm back, in a way, especially while this is unfolding, is I'm going to stay back here. I'm going to do as many streams. The videos, I'll still have to keep doing the videos because, like I say, it's mostly for record. But if I'm doing it in the streams, I'm still keeping it in a record, but it's just that I have to go over 2-3 hours sometimes so it's much easier if I do it in small chunks. But I'll still be doing some uploads of the videos, still be recording videos. But for now, because in a stream I can, have access to everybody like right in the here and now, and I don't have to wait till it's uploaded. I'm going to keep trying to do these streams as much as possible. But anyways, like I say, thanks for all you folks that showed up to the stream. You guys are all, guys and gals, you're all great. Like I say, I'm mad respect for all you people that are willing to take the time of the day and help spread this information and listen to what I've got to say. Listen to me go on my rambles from time to time, which does happen. And you're a patient lot. I'll admit that for sure, because I can definitely go on a rampage at times, right? But yeah, thumbs up, brother. Thanks, Daver5150. If you haven't already, hit like and subscribe to the channel. See what Chinese Communist Party is guilty of crimes against humanity. Oh, the Communist Party has been guilty for crimes against humanity for a long time, not just the COVID outbreak. Could be, but you have to wonder what they want us all inside. Why? Yeah, I know, right? Anyways, yeah, we'll get into that because I'm pretty sure if I do another stream, whether it's tomorrow or the next day, I'm just going to play it by ear based on what's coming out, what kind of information is coming out day by day. Thanks, Leo. I will do so, and you do the same thing, buddy. We gotta, and maybe we should do a collab together here again sometime. I think maybe you and I, Leo, if you want, reach out to me or whatever, and maybe we can do a little collab together. I'll go on your channel, you come on mine. It doesn't matter either way. But yeah, like I say, just one thing I would say is because the notifications don't seem to go out quite as readily as I would like them to do. If you do at least subscribe, and even if you want to go in afterwards and then turn off the bell notification so you're not getting all the notifications, because I understand not everyone wants to get notified by every time I upload a video or all that. But because we do know that they're definitely, the notifications aren't going out as much as I would like, then just like you say, go when you hit subscribe, then hit the notification for all, or even just like my Facebook page, and then you'll see, as long as there's some way that you can get notified when I am going live, then that's all I really care about at the end of the day. Right on. Good to hear there. We'll do that again. We'll do that soon then again, Leo. We'll talk about that. We'll do that soon. But yeah, just as long as there's some way that you can get notified when I am going live, that's all I care. And we'll keep in touch with each other so that we can kind of work through this stuff and push back against that crap that the media keeps trying to jam into people's head, that's keeping everyone all in such a heightened state of fear. Social credit will suck. Yeah, big time. Anyway, so I'm tying everything up. Everyone have yourself a great day. Take care of yourself and obviously those you love. Keep the vulnerable protected. Do whatever you're doing to prepare for any eventual outcome. I don't mean hoarding and all that stuff, but just do all those little things, right? Because we've all had the parents or grandparents that taught us about the things that happened, during the Great Depression and, leading up to World War. Just being a little bit mindful and having some forethought to think of just how things may go and what can make sure that you and the people you care about are in a position that you'll be able to weather the storm better than most, right? Because that's the thing. There's a lot of people out there that are following the narrative of the ruling class and our thought leaders that aren't going to be in a good position when things do break down. But we, at least we will be in a better position. And we are the ones, because we're the ones that care about liberty. Like we are what I would consider would be the leaders of liberty. We're the ones that really need to make sure that we're around after all said and done. So anyways, everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next live stream. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.